welcome back to another episode of RaidzBank podcast. I'll be your host this week. My name is Poplo, and joined with me are my two favorite co-hosts, Hoyt and Heartless.
Hey.
Guys, how are you doing this week?
Doing well.
Yeah, doing super well.
Good. Glad to hear that. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, this is an Old School RuneScape podcast, and we love this game, and we love nerding out and talking about it. So, this week we are going to do another deep dive episode, which we're really looking forward to. Taking a little break from sailing, which is going to be kind of nice. And we're planning to do a deep dive into the Theater of Blood, everyone's favorite raid. Insert fanfare here. But before we do that, we're gonna start this week like we start off every week, and with what we've been up to. So, what have you guys been up to this week? Heartless, maybe you want to start us off?
Oh gosh, you want to start with me? All right. Well, speaking
you
of
can
taking
pass
a
it if you
break,
want.
no. I'll start. It's just going to be a bit of a lengthy one. Speaking of taking a break from sailing, I haven't sailed all week. I have been taking part in a bingo with TNL, which is another podcast, XP Waste. That's their clan. They're kind of like a sister clan. We have a lot of cross pollination, I guess, among our members. So I'm sure a lot of our listeners are aware of who they are. Oxy and Michael over there. So they ran a bingo, which they tend to do in the fall and the spring, and then we usually run ours in the winter and the summer. So I've done the last 6, I think, maybe.
Wow.
Maybe 6, maybe 7. I didn't
Filling
want
out
to
that
say it
punch card.
because I wanted Hoyt to not say 6, 7 again.
6,
but here
7.
we are.
Every time.
I wasn't even thinking about it. You summoned it.
Dude, whenever I do that with my students, I'm always going to say 6 or 7. I say 6, then they look excited.
If
I
you
say
lean
6
into
to
it,
8.
they'll think it's cringe and they'll stop.
6 to 8.
You just gotta lean into it.
I don't know. 10-year-olds, maybe. You never know.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny, but the
30-year-olds.
Yeah, that's true. The point being, I was in this bingo. I got drafted onto a team where I knew a couple of the people. We unfortunately didn't have like the biggest turnout on our team, but we had a fun week. And I didn't get any crazy drops or anything, like a piece of oath plate and some other stuff. But the bingo was massive. It had a ton of people in it.
I mean, oath plate's a pretty big drop for us casual guys out there. But it was a dupe. That's why you're not happy.
Yeah, it was a helm.
Are you done with
oath
plate?
No, I need the chest plate, so it's another like I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna break it down for 50 shards. It's not the end of the world, but yeah, I grinded. Like I love bingos. I love grinding. I meeting new people, and I think they made some changes to their bingo this year. That they have a slightly different philosophy on, I guess, how their bingos are run, which is fine. Ours are a little bit different.
Yeah, I heard
one of the main things they were
talking. Michael was saying like this is the first one he's not like really participating in. So it sounds like there's like a new team of people that are really doing them. But I was just listening to their
they have some people
podcast.
that do.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I have a few gripes with it, but I think there's a few things that they did really well. This time specifically, they used to have leaderboards for the last 5 that I was in, and they tend to have like 400 to 500 people in their bingos.
Jeez.
Teams of maybe 20 to 25 teams. And
holy smokes.
The leaderboard, while a cool idea, if you check it and you start to fall way behind really quickly, it just tanks motivation on everyone except for the winning team. So like the last 2 bingos, not this one, I think we came like mid-pack, pretty solidly mid-pack. But in the previous 2, I've come second place on both teams. And even then, that's probably the best time to have a leaderboard because you're like, oh, we're so close, like you trading the lead off with the other team. But then if they pull ahead a little bit, like it can just kill motivation.
Yeah.
So
That a pretty good prize pool for second place too?
No, I don't think so. I think you didn't get too much money. I never take a buyout for bingo. I just give it to one of the teammates. Generous,
humble guy,
humble Iron Man. So yeah, it was pretty good. I've kind of forgotten my point here, but I was talking about the leaderboard. Excuse me. Yeah.
Leaderboard.
So the leaderboard wise, this time they decided to remove it completely, which I thought is one of the best things. I've been telling them to do it for years. I've been spamming Oxy, like, dude, just remove the leaderboard. I'm telling you, like, motivation will go up across the board. But no, they didn't want to do it. And this time they did it, and like the participation was wild. Like everyone was playing the whole time, so it's nice to see.
Good.
That's good.
Yeah, and then I mean, obviously they had a lot of like good content on there. The board was like visually very, very, very hard to follow. You guys both saw it, I'm sure. Which I didn't enjoy because I like being able to look at a board and see what to do rather than a spreadsheet. So that was a little tricky to manage. Took a few days to like wrap my head around it. So that was one thing. I can't remember the other issue I had. What else was there? There's a couple things. I didn't quite get my thoughts straight because it literally finished like 20 minutes ago, fellas. Like I'm not joking. Oh, man. we just said it, so I'm a little bit fried from it. But yeah, there was a couple other things that happened that I didn't love. Oh yeah, they had like a locked style board. So if you've never played a bingo, basically it's like a list of tasks to do, and it's super fun because it's like you're playing group Iron Man mode with people for a week.
Yeah. And
so you could get unlucky, but people around you could get lucky, and it's awesome because, you know, maybe you're going dry at Doom or something, and you know Poplo will go and pull it for you, so you're kind of all in it together, whether you're getting speed or whether you're going dry, and that's like the fun part of it, right?
You become a hero.
Yeah, you get to become a hero. You get to do the different grinds. You get to meet new people. But their board, like they have a locked style. Basically, you have to complete certain tiles to move on to the next ones. And there was a little bit of like FOMO stuff going on. So like for example, one tile was get a Soulflame horn, which is like 1 in 300 from Yama. But then the tile that it unlocked after was get 3 Oathplate pieces. So if you get them, which is a crazy tile, but like it's still it's kind of weird because if you pull it early, then it doesn't count, so it feels really bad. And another one they had was like do a bunch of Doom waves, like just kill a certain number of Doom waves, and then there was like an Eye of Ayak locked behind it. Just a couple like strange things, but overall it was fine. Every team kind of got screwed by the ancestral tile being required to unlock a bunch of stuff. Because
classic.
Yeah, but I think just the calcs weren't like maybe done on that one because it takes like 110 hours on average to see an ancestral piece. It's super rare.
Jeez. Yeah.
So
you could see the tiles that you're gonna unlock before you actually got to them.
Yeah, you could. So I ended up spending like the first night doing some math, just like figure out which was the best route. But overall, I had fun. I had a good time with my team. We got some drops and met some new people. So yeah, I can't really complain about that. So.
Yeah, and shout out to them for organizing. I can't imagine doing a freaking bingo for 400 or 500 people. Like, I actually can't imagine it. I do it for like 60, 80 people, and it can be rough. It's a lot.
Yeah, well, you're also a perfectionist, Hoyt, to be fair.
Hey, I like to give people... They wait 6 months. I want to give it to them a good one.
Yeah, doing it for 60 is a lot easier than 500. Like, I don't envy their task, and I'll definitely play... I'll play the next one. I wouldn't be able to captain one of their bingos. It's like requires too much effort for my liking, but I think participating is perfectly acceptable.
Yeah,
but
I'll have to do one.
That's pretty much it. So yeah, big shout out. Yeah, you should definitely check them out. And yeah, I think, man, I love planning for bingos. Hoyt, you and I are like on the same page in that we love math.
Yeah,
and where I think we sort of, rather than forcing things, we let numbers kind of dictate. So if we're making a tile, let's say it's supposed to be a really hard tile, and we've calculated the rest of the board on like the average time it takes to get a drop, because you have to do that. Getting lucky, just like you can't factor that in when you're making something like this.
Yeah.
You need to just estimate based on
average rates.
Yeah. So like for example, the ancestral piece, you would want that to be like a corner tile, like a not an impossible tile. You could get lucky on it, of course, but that's not really going to happen to most people. You're on average going to take 110 hours to get that tile done. Same goes for like, I don't know, the DK's rings. It sounds like a lot, but in reality, it's like very, very fast to get all 4 of them. Hoyt and I are pretty good at like working backwards. So if we're like, okay, we want DKs to be on this tile, but we want it to be about, or we want something on this tile that's going to be 10 hours, we like reverse engineer it to find a drop that would take that long. So maybe 2 out of 4 it's Ulra, or a specific unique is Ulra, or 3 out of the 4 but random. There's like a bunch of different ways you can make the numbers work.
One of the hardest things is the row, column, diagonal bonus. So last bingo we did that, and if you get 5 in a row, you get bonus points. But balancing the EHB per tile, right? It could be anywhere from 5 to 40 EHB. Trying to make equal rows is like a game of Sudoku, or whatever. They all have to add up to the same. I actually found the first thing that like AI can't do because there's not enough computing power. It was worse than humans for trying to equalize each row, because it's like a classic computer science problem of like the number of combinations is too much. It could do it, but they're not going to give some random guy the resources and power and CPUs to do that for some RuneScape board that's used for like curing cancer, but it's it gets so complicated that even like ChatGPT like was terrible at it. So
really,
it gets really fun, but it's just like one of those, like a little Sudoku puzzle with your newspaper. Because ChatGPT is trying to brute force it basically, because it's not a human. It can't like logic things. It just knows patterns.
Yeah, the last few bingos that we ran in RaidsBank have been just Hoyt and I in the lab cooking for a couple nights, and it's good times, man. I love coming up with the board and finagling with the different drops and tiles.
And the thing with like perfectionism is you have 80 nerds staring at this thing, dissecting it for like a whole week. If you try to be perfect, you're going to have a few mistakes. If you don't try to be perfect, God, you're going to have a lot of problems.
No, Hoyt's 100%. Hoyt's 100% right.
They try to game the system.
You have to make it balanced and fair. That's just the way we like to design them. We like it like we show the numbers straight up, and we like it to be relatively straightforward.
Yeah.
So that you don't have to like decide which
should be
path
on
is
luck.
the best, because then it comes luck and how much you play, rather than maybe
or being mad at your team.
Being pissed at them. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think
you don't
want to
feel like you lost just because you made a decision on the board.
Yeah.
This just might be like a philosophical debate on like how you run a bingo. But another thing about their bingo, and this is totally fine. Like they have XP tiles, which we never do, and that's because think their clan on average. Yeah, Hoyt has been like banging.
Never
that
say
drum.
never.
Hoyt's been banging that drum, but I'm against them because they're like chores that everyone will get done, and it makes sense if you're gonna do like a longer bingo and people are gonna be working. You want to make sure that they have a chance to participate, and XP tiles are a way for them to do that. Like they'll get done by every team, and usually just by the people AFKing, which is totally fair. But in recent years, we've gone down. We keep trimming it down to like 4 days. Like I think we're down to 4 days now for our bingos.
Yeah,
which I think they work better because we're older and
like 3.5.
Not that we don't have much time, but you just want to like grind this. By the end of a week-long bingo, I'm usually just totally cooked. So
you don't want people to burn out.
Anyways, it's harder. It gets harder.
There you go. You've let me rant for 20 minutes about what I did in bingos, but I love bingos and I had a good time. And a big shout out to the Sophanum Sandbaggers if any of you are listening.
That's a good name.
Great.
It was pretty good. We had a good week in voice chat, so we pulled some nice drops.
Good.
And, I couldn't have asked for a better team to grind with this week. So.
Oh yeah,
nice.
Yeah. Well, what about you, Hoyt? What have you been up to? Did you? Obviously, I didn't get to deep sea trawling, dude. I had like half a day, and I got 4 of those barb spikes, and I realized I needed 16, and I'd spent 2 hours going for them. And I just I tapped out. I said I'd get it done for the pod, but there's no chance I'm getting this done in time.
Yeah.
Did you finish your boat?
I did. Yeah. I'm using it right now. I'm going for some trophy fish. So yeah, I completed my armada of boats. There's nothing I need to upgrade until I start doing dragon stuff. But frankly, I think I'm just going to save those materials in case I regret building anything. Maybe like a cargo hold I'll build. But I had to get 10 swift albatross feathers, 16 ray barbs, and a narwhal horn. So I was doing that this week. I started out doing the bounties for them because I was like, well, I want the XP drop if I'm going for the drop anyways. Probably don't do that. It's just a waste. They're too hard to like. It's like trying to it's like trying to get a Slayer drop on task when it's faster. Just go get it off task. There's no drop rate modifier. So I gave up and did some quick maths, and the stingrays are the best way to get the ray barbs. And you can get one every like half hour or less, probably 20 minutes, I think was the rate, if you're efficiently killing them. I got comfortable with the boat combat. You can, when you have your 2 cannons, you can start attacking one and then tell them to ignore your directions. There's like the eyeball thing. Click on that, and you can go attack the other stingray, and they'll stay attacking the first one, if that makes sense. So,
also like your character is attacking a different one.
Your character,
but they're still hitting the first one,
and the other cannon. Because as it stands right now, I was clicking like left, right, so both my cannons would work. If you click one on the right, and then your cannoneer is shooting them, tell them to stop listening to your commands, and then start shooting the one on the left. They'll shoot simultaneously. You don't have to click left, right. So just a little pro tip. It's super obvious, but it's just like something I'd never tried. And there's some like monsters I don't want to be multi-combat, but the stingrays you kill super fast. So I also ran a bunch of calcs. Pretty much always full crystal with Bofa was my best DPS. But it was telling me like maybe Elite Void with blowpipe and stuff like that. But
then your range is so short you can't even hit them.
Yeah, that's another problem. Yeah. So it was me. I started.
A lot of people using like the Eye of Ayak. Is that kind of like?
That's good for the Krakens, I think.
For everything.
I think I wasn't killing Krakens because I don't need them yet. Well, I need that jar of storm or whatever, bottled storm. But no, I think the Krakens are weak to magic, so I think that's why they do that. Because I saw that as well.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, besides that, I started deep sea trawling. Shout out to Cyan C. I made a friend while I was doing the lowest tier one. Dude's like a rank 500 collection logger. There's no one else is going to be deep sea trawling in a dragon boat on the fucking shrimp. So it was hilarious. We're both just like, why are you here? It's like, obviously we're both going for the trophy fish. So
right.
People on YouTube will see me doing it. I'm doing the easiest one. So there's like 3 levels of the trawling, right? There's like shallow, medium, and deep. So this one, you don't need to change your level at all. Like, it just stays in the middle. And that's pretty OP. Or this might be the high setting. But I think the Marlin one will be more involved. But honestly, I really like the method. It's really chill. The rates are just awful. I'm getting 32k sailing and 25k fishing right now. And this is the lowest one, so it's like fishing shrimp, you know. But I mean, compared to 220k, it's crazy.
Obviously, I'm really curious to see what you get from Marlin.
Yeah,
XP wise.
So right now my goal is like I'm kind of in my post sailing arc. I started actually raiding last night again, which was fun.
Yeah.
So right now, when I want to AFK, I'll salvage, and I'm going for the collection logs there. I'm 4 out of 8 for the salvaging logs. And then when I like really want to chill but can't raid, or when I want to play but like can't quite raid, like I was riding in the car today, I'll do the trawling because it's like you have to be active to a degree. But other than that, I'm just going to AFK sailing to 99. I'm not doing Gwyneth Glide. I got my Marlin rank and clogs. I'm going to spend my active time going back to the Infernal Cape has been like really like poking me mentally. Like it's been like really itching at me. I really want to get it, but I want Rigor first, and I want like a few other things. So hopefully I'm on my Inferno arc soon, if Rigor is nice to me. So
there you go.
That's it for me.
Calling you like the Green Goblin mask.
Yeah, it's like eating away at me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah. What about you, Poplo?
Well, I'm pretty short and sweet this week. I haven't really been up to a ton. Kind of just same as last week, salvaging and killing more shamans. Got 97 sailing, so I'm getting close.
Sheesh.
I'm just gonna do that to 99. Just yeah, I always thought that I would go back to Gwyneth Glide just to do a little bit more because I didn't spend a ton of time there. But since I've been at the salvaging place, then just it's so hard to leave when I know I just have to go all the way back, and so it's just easier to stay there and just AFK it on the side. On the group Iron Man, mostly just been killing shamans, and chilling, watching some YouTube. We did a little bit more Royal Titans just to try to finish off. We wanted one of the Twin Flame Staves at least, and we have killed, I don't know, 400 or whatever of them, or 400 loots from the fire guy, and we hadn't gotten any of the fire staff pieces, and we've all like completed pretty much everything else there. We have 2 ice pieces, and I think everyone has all the prayer scrolls now in my group, and so one of my group mates got a fire giant task. He's like, oh, you want to just go send some just to try to finish it off? And I said, yeah, let's go. We're going to be the heroes tonight. And we went and we got 2 of the fire staff pieces in one trip within like 10 kills. So we got 2 twin flame staves, which is awesome.
Hell yeah.
Going to be good for Zulrah, and probably using them at TOA for a little while now.
They just look so fun to use.
Yeah.
The double hit splat.
Yeah, they are
crazy.
Shooting double is kind of sick.
Yeah.
So, that's pretty much it this week. I haven't really been doing too much.
Nice.
So,
I did have
not as exciting as you guys, but
2 things with sailing I forgot to mention. One, there's tile packs for deep sea trawling that I just found like right before we started recording. They're goated. So there is no
nice. You can follow
plugin.
that route.
Yeah, there's no plugin yet, but there is tile packs. Definitely do that. And then, the second thing was, yeah, I'm getting 32k sailing XP an hour, but as someone pointed out last night in Discord, 16k of that's the crystal extractor. So I'm actually getting 16k. So like it's bad. It's so bad.
That's tough.
Jagex, wait, what fishing XP are you getting?
22k. So like half of Karambwam's. For an active method.
It's got to be closer to 50 plus, right? When you get to Marlin.
Yeah, before next week's episode, I'll check out an efficient little Marlin thing with my boat, and we'll see. It should be like 2 or 3x the rates I'm getting here. I know it's still bad, but maybe 60k sailing and 60, 70k, 6-7 fishing.
Yeah, but hopefully the trade-off is like that it just dumps fish, right? You're supposed to get a bunch of
that is their
Marlin,
logic.
like, as you're doing it. So that's supposed to be the trade-off, is you get tons of resources.
Yeah, their logic is you don't do this for the XP, you're doing it for the reward. I get it, but seriously.
You gotta have a little bit of XP reward to make it feel like not like a waste of time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It definitely just feels like a clogging waste of time. But
speaking of down bad though.
Yeah.
I ran out of carom bonds this week, boys.
What?
Cooked carom bonds.
That's impressive.
Jeez.
I thought you would appreciate that.
That's impressive.
I only had a few thousand. I have 79,000 uncooked carom bonds, but I hate cooking. It's so boring.
Oh my god.
One tip.
Yeah, so I'm down to 0.
That's hilarious.
No, I'm not gonna save my wrist for
dude.
Real
Do an
PvM.
efficient 6 hour.
Come on.
And you'll be good for a year.
Efficient 6 hour, and then I'll have to take 6 weeks off to recover.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious to see Marlin next week, Hoyt, when you come back with the report.
Yeah. Definitely will.
Yep. That's it. That's the homework for the week. So, anything else you guys got before we move on to clan shoutouts?
No, did you share you already shared yours. Nothing exciting.
Yeah, I barely did anything exciting. So, yeah. We did 2 more TOAs and got nothing, Those 200s aren't putting out like they used to. Yeah, we'll move on to our clan shoutouts. If you want to be part of this segment, you can join our Discord in the link tree below. If you're over 1800 total level, consider joining our clan in game. You can just type RaidzBank. That's RaidzBank, one word. Just join as a guest and ask for an invite. Someone will add you to the clan. And also, like what we talked about last week, we just reworked the ranking system. So make sure you guys, if you're in the clan, submit for your new ranks. So first up, we have Barrington, who got his T-bow. And he was grinding super hard for that at Chambers. He got it at 9 KC before any other unique.
Crazy.
So
not even a Torn Prayer.
Deserved.
No.
Deserved.
Like, nothing else.
Crazy.
Yeah. So huge shout out, Barrington.
That's actually crazy though. What a dream. Dream start to the
He had decent points too. Yeah, like 20K or something. It's funny.
There you go. He put in the work.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, worth it. Next up, we have our weekly shout out to Pump, who got the Jalnibrek Inferno Pet at 2KC.
Deserved.
On a colossal
Another deserved drop. Mr. Pump, congratulations. The grind is over. Up next, guys, we have another weekly shout out of Third Age for Rimla, who got a Third Age plate body.
Yeah. I was online for that. It was crazy.
Another one. That's every week. We're on a streak, guys.
You want to know the craziest part about this one?
What's up?
Rimla's in that bingo, the TNL bingo, and it's genuinely a tile. Get a Third Age piece.
No way.
What?
Yeah,
no way.
So they put these like troll. They put these like troll corner tiles that were like almost impossible to get. Like, I mean, mega rare, maybe not. I think it was mega rare, Third Age piece, skilling pet, and then the last one was, god damn, I can't remember. But it was something else. It was something else wild. I'll remember it in a minute, and I'll tell you.
Yeah.
The other one.
They didn't know that they had the RaidzBank buff.
Yeah, they didn't know that the RaidzBank buff was coming for Rimla. So, boom, drops it on them. The Third Age play body.
That is awesome.
Amazing.
Team must have lost it when that happened.
Yeah, no kidding. And then finally, we have a couple other shout outs. Yace, Vexty, Fiber, and I'm going to add Toddy to this one too.
Oh, yeah.
Got 99 sailing and remaxed their accounts. So congrats to the four of you guys.
GG.
Enjoy the max cape and one of the coolest emotes from the sailing cape.
Emotes.
And I hope you can, the emote's really good. And I hope you have named your boats something awesome as well. So congratulations to you guys.
Can't wait for that. My trawling boat has like Slayer in the name. I'm like, this ain't working. We need.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I know Vexty's got a pretty good one. I think one of his is named Beast.
Oh, yeah, he's one
nice.
that's
just Beast.
Yeah, just Beast.
Oh, I found that tile, boys. It was get all 10 unique champion scrolls.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, that's the other 3 luck you could get, but that one I don't think any team got. So it's all good.
No kidding.
Good times.
So, all right. We're going to move on. Before we get into our game updates, just wanted to let you guys know that we have a Patreon account that we started. So thank you to you guys for your support. This is something that is a passion project for us, and we get to launch a Patreon because of your guys' support. This just keeps the show going, covers our costs, editing software, stuff like that, so you can support for as low as $3 a month. Higher tiers earn access to our Q&A channel and podcast shoutouts. And if Patreon isn't your thing, then considering listening to this quick message here from our sponsors. All right, welcome back, guys. Thank you for hanging in there. Hopefully, I got reports last week, Hoyt and Heartless, that there were a couple Spanish ads going on.
Really?
So, one of my friends said he got
That's
one
kind of funny.
in Spanish last week.
Really?
So,
I'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're using a VPN
So
or something. That's weird.
I don't know.
I think I've gotten one before
I think that's
on another
though.
podcast. Is like, we use the biggest podcast like distributor thing outside of Spotify or whatever. So I'll have to check in on that. It's kind of funny. Hopefully they laughed at least.
Honestly, it's probably fine.
Yeah.
So I speak.
I think it's more funny.
I speak French, and I once in a while get ads in French. because I speak at work with some colleagues, and then, but then occasionally I'll get the occasional French ad out of nowhere, and it always takes me by surprise.
That's funny.
It's pretty funny. Yeah,
that's awesome. We're gonna have a French RuneScape word of the week with you.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Sure. How do you say herb lore in French?
Lots of phlegm.
You know, that's one we'll have to investigate, because I don't think I've ever said that word or even pondered it.
It's not a word used in daily speech.
Is it even a French word that's translatable? That's another question.
True.
Probably. You just have to say it with a French accent.
What about cooking? Didn't they invent like formalized cooking?
No, wait. So is herblore even a real English word, or is it just made up in RuneScape?
Oh, that's a
Who
good
knows
question.
At this point, man?
It seems like something that RuneScape made up.
Yeah, you might be
Probably.
right.
Fair. Because I think it would be called alchemy, right? Like, or something like that in English. Like something aside, it's kind of like that.
Well,
yeah, I think you're
I don't know.
right.
Alchemy is like metals and like turning stuff into gold, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. But that's like the
like one
loosest
substance into
translation of
another.
like something I could think. It'd be just straight up magic, basically, in our world. Yeah, I feel like herblore is a RuneScape only name.
It's just brewing. It's just
true. It's actually
making potions,
making some craft
drinks.
beer. Yeah, that's right.
Craft beer. Now we're talking. It's called IPA, actually.
There we go.
All right, let's get into our game updates, guys. This week was not super exciting, which is kind of nice to have a little more of a quiet week. I know we promised we'll talk about Theater of Blood, but let's go through these quickly first. And so we talked last week on our episode that they were buffing salvaging, and so that came through, and everybody rejoiced, and salvaging is good again.
Yeah.
They changed it a little bit. They tweaked it so that the full AFK method with the sorting, you have two people manning the hooks, and then you're just AFK and sorting. That took a hit. Probably rightfully so. So now you're getting probably 30 to 40k XP an hour doing that. But if you're actively salvaging and manning one of your hooks, then you can still easily get over 100k an hour with the crystal extractor and everything like that. So it seems like it's in a pretty good place right now. It seems like they hit it where they wanted to. But if you're actively salvaging without, doing any sweaty tick manipulating things like nobody's doing, then you can still get a decent amount of XP. I think it feels pretty good.
Hell yeah.
They also said they're buffing Gwyneth Glide, and so now you get a little bit more XP. You get 16.5k for each Marlin Gwyneth Glide completion. If you have the keg, the Horizons Lure keg, which you get from charting all of the seas. And so that is another buff to that, because previously the 2.5% XP buff from the keg did not apply to the Barracuda trials. So now it does. There's more rejoicing. Everyone's just raking in the XP now.
Can you fit it on your boat?
Happy, right?
You kind of have to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you
put
can.
it right in the middle. So you put.
So
what are the three slots
for the
you use
salvaging one? You actually take out your wind catcher, your gale catcher, for that boat, because it's just worth the trade off to have another keg, because you don't ever need to like go to a salvaging place fast. That's kind of the meta right now.
Yeah.
But what's the meta? What's the meta for the little boat though? What do people build usually?
Little boat, you take everything off so you don't misclick, and then you have maybe one keg. There's actually a helpful spreadsheet, of course.
Well, you need a wind catcher or a gale catcher though.
Yes, and
you
also
need your wind catcher and crystal extractor.
So it goes there's only three slots, so you put the keg in the middle, I assume. Or at the edge.
Yeah, wherever.
There's only three slots.
It goes in the same one as like
a
a salvaging station, right? So you could.
Here it is.
So you put.
I guess the point is you can't put a teleportation focus.
You do
on the
inoculation,
boat,
wind catcher, telefocus, crystal extractor. So no keg, which is interesting. I wonder if this spreadsheet's is dated poorly.
Is there a spot for it on that?
There might not be. That might be why the spreadsheet doesn't have it.
Okay.
This is called a build a boat spreadsheet. If anyone wants it, it's on our Discord and sailing.
So it only gets you a tiny amount more experience. It only gets you 412 XP extra per lap of Marlin.
Yeah,
it's not worth it to replace a crystal extractor.
How many laps of Marlin can you do per hour?
10, maybe 11, 10 or 11.
11.
Okay, so let's say 10. You get an extra 4. So that the Horizon Lure is getting you extra 4,000 XP per hour. It's not huge.
True. Yeah.
At the price of losing a teleportation focus.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I guess you decide what you want more. If you're just gonna glide straight, I would grab the Horizon's Lure and put it on if you have it, of course.
Yeah, if you don't have to go.
But if you don't have to go out of your way
one
for
port
it,
to another.
Yeah, I think it's probably worth. Mm-hmm. But if you're gonna be doing port tasks and stuff, you definitely want the focus.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's mostly. There's a couple other. I think there are a couple other updates for sailing this week. Oh, here we go. A couple QOL updates. Group irons can now use other people's facilities on their ships, as long as they have the sailing level to do so, which is good. Bone Crusher now works on sailing creatures. I'm guessing you probably don't use that much, Hoyt, when you were out doing combat. Probably weren't bringing your Bone Crusher with you.
No, I tried when it first came out, and I was unhappy that it didn't work. I was like, what the hell? Like, I don't want these big bones in my inventory. It's just less things to drop. It's not about the prayer XP. It's about quality of life, so.
Oh, gotcha. So you don't have to drop them after you harvest the
would recommend.
things. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of nice. What else? When quick transporting your boat with a boat spell or shipwright.
Oh, this one's big.
You now only lose your sailing items that are in your cargo hold. You don't lose your cannonballs or repair kits. And this is the same if this is only if your boat is docked. If you capsize or you lose it on the sea, then you will lose those items.
Yeah.
Is that right? If you capsize, you die in combat or something, you will still lose those supplies. But if you just teleport away from your boat and bring it back to a dock, then you won't lose your cannonballs and repair kits.
Correct, yeah.
Seems like a good change.
Yeah, very good. So no more losing your stacks of cannonballs. They also only let you put 2,000 in at a time because people were losing 100k cannonballs on day one.
Yikes.
It's definitely a big buff. You can just teleport without the warning message and stuff. It's nice.
They need to fix that. Oh yeah, and they removed the warning message too, or you can toggle it off when you're teleporting away from your boat. You can toggle it off because right now it says, "Warning, you're gonna have to pay to get your boat back when you teleport away from it." But you can toggle that off. They really need to fix the cannonball stuff, guys. It seems like dragon cannonballs are just not worth it for how long it takes to get them. It's better just to use I don't know, probably steel cannonballs or whatever until you make your dragon cannons and probably have to use them for the high level combat stuff.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. Just steel. And I'm saving my Addy rune, and I use the myth ones just because I probably won't regret losing myth ones, but I just think 2 years from now, I don't want to look back and be like, good God, why did I use all my rune cannonballs before this boss came out, So
yeah, exactly. Hopefully they make it a little better than before before you really need them and really need to damage stuff quickly.
Yeah.
So, last for sailing, all sea charting can now be boosted, so you can do a temporary boost to chart. Same with building supplies on your facilities on your boat and using cannons. You can use a temporary boost to run all of that stuff now. So that is good.
Very good.
Also this week, the Christmas event came out. So everyone out there who wants to get your music cape trimmed, there is a new music track that came out. So make sure you go and do the Christmas event before it goes away.
I think you just have to walk in the bar. You don't have to actually do anything, so that is good.
Okay.
So just go to Verzik, go to the Bloomin' Inn. I think it unlocks.
There you go. So make sure you do that if you want to keep your trimmed cape, or if you're looking to get it for the first time. Now is that time of year that everyone has been waiting for. So yeah, do it. You started at Blue Moon Inn in Varrock. I have not done it. Have either of you guys done it yet?
I don't do those. I do. I want to ask, what do you guys think of the holiday events as far as resources that Jagex puts in? Controversial.
I'd keep them minimal, in my opinion. Keep them minimal.
And I know they've said in the past that they put like new employees on there as a good training thing. So I like that.
Yeah, that sounds great.
I do just kind of cringe when they're like really nice and well done and beautiful, because I'm just like, why did you spend so much time? But
yeah,
I
think that my favorite part of them is when they come out with like a new item that like they had the dragon candlestick or whatever that you could like DDS spec people out at the bank. Like if they come out with like just fun weapons or whatever that just have a cool, funny animation or something. That's, I think, really where I like to do them. Just look goofy.
No, absolutely. And the most nostalgic thing for me was doing holiday events when I was a little kid. I remember like the Halloween events, like when there was a holiday event in RuneScape, like you didn't know what the next like party hat could be or Halloween mask or Santa hat, so you did them. So I remember like I got the skeleton outfit, the OG, like they look like PJs or whatever. And I love them, but I've already said it. I do just cringe a little bit when they like make a whole ass land mass for it and like all this special dialogue and NPCs. I'm like, man, imagine if that was like just a new quest.
Yeah.
But
yeah. And everyone's space bars through it anyway, so nobody really cares about it, it seems like, for the most part.
Yeah. Just wanted to ruin everyone's day with that hot take, so. Cheers. Happy holidays.
I don't know if that's that hot.
No, it's not.
Go throw some snowballs at people. That makes me feel better.
Yeah, there you
go. I think that's it for our game updates. Real quick on community chatter. There's a couple other blogs that we got this week. We have mentioned this before, but there's an official OSRS podcast that is out. And that one, Mod North was the guest this week.
Yeah.
So make sure you go check that out. He's the CEO of RuneScape.
Yep.
Of everything, basically. So go check that out.
I listened to it and he's grown on me. I think his overly corporate, he kind of talked about this on the podcast. I'd recommend listening, but when he first introduced himself, it was very, and rightfully so, I'm sure he was nervous or anxious. He was very buttoned up corporate talk. And I didn't love that. It just felt very ingenuine. But ever since then, he's been, and then I'm not going to bring it up too much, but some of his early decisions with content in the game was interesting choices to me. But he's been growing on me. He's being like more personable, and I do have faith in him and where he wants to take the game. And I'm really excited for what he's doing with RuneScape 3, because I've always wanted to play it, but it's been so off-putting that I never have. So I like the changes he's talking about, so would recommend.
He's trying to like get rid of microtransactions.
Yes.
In RuneScape 3, right?
At least to a large degree.
I can't believe we haven't mentioned that yet, that poll that happened, which was insane, by the way.
Yeah.
Do you want to run through it, Poplo? But just for like 2 minutes, what happened with that polling?
Why don't you do it?
So basically,
which one are you talking about?
I'm talking about the microtransaction poll.
For the old school or for the...
No. So the old school one never happened. But the microtransaction poll happened for RS3. Thank Christ it didn't happen in our game.
Well, they released at the beginning of the year.
What I was thinking of is the survey.
They had a poll.
Right?
Would you like to pay to save your account?
Yeah. would you like to?
And
would
you
like to pay to get what was it?
Would
to
you
get
pay
better customer service?
Would you pay 40
a month?
Give
priority customer service. That's what it was.
Give us a baseline.
Okay, what about 50 a month? 60?
Okay, we've had some cringe polls, but the point being, there was a poll that happened, earlier, I think in the fall, about RS3 to remove Treasure Hunter, and I think Treasure Hunter, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's basically where you can pay real money to spin and get a bunch of shit from the wheel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whether
Squeal
it's
of Fortune.
XP, it's Wheel of Fortune. It's basically pay money to get stuff in the game, whether it's XP boosts or items or coins or whatever the hell it is. It has all sorts of stuff on it. And they did a poll basically saying if they reach 100,000 votes, they will remove Treasure Hunter. And as of today, it's reached 124,985. So beginning on the 19th of January, they're going to remove Treasure Hunter, which is honestly kind of amazing.
It is amazing.
Hopefully, you can revive the integrity, but it's probably like too far gone at this point.
I've heard that their whole we're taking microtransactions out with Treasure Hunter. I don't know how valid this is, but I have heard criticism that it's like they're really only taking out like the top of the iceberg, like 10% for looks.
It's too late. It's
okay.
Too
well,
late,
it's something.
Right?
It's a good start.
Better than nothing.
Yeah,
it's just like,
but you're saying basically it's maybe not enough, or it's too late.
Purposefully deceptive. Like it's purposefully making you think, oh my god, they saved RS3, let's try it out, and then boom, 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 crazy microtransactions still. But I like the cosmetics thing. The cosmetics are off-putting. If you want to pay to win, you can do it in OSRS. Like you can buy a scythe and a T-bow and a shadow with bonds right now.
Yeah, but it's unrealistic. Like you're talking about
it's different.
Silly money, but there's no, and you can buy bonds to a certain extent, but it can only really push your account so far in this game. Like eventually you're going to have to start making money in the actual game.
Yeah.
Like, you can maybe like buy 500 mil bonds, but that's expensive. But if you got a lot of disposable income, like it's not a huge deal. If that's how you want to play, it's fine. But I imagine most people are pretty against all forms of microtransaction, including cosmetics in this game. I think if you had to pay for cosmetics, we would have riots.
Terrible.
Let alone pay for like XP or items or boosted whatever. The game would completely. They know at this point. I genuinely think everything would crash. What do you guys think if they tried to force it?
No, Mon North knows, and he says it outright.
We'd be.
He even goes further than I'd recommend. He's like, we will never have he says the words, which I commend him for, because that's a lot of risk. Yeah. You never know what your board of directors is going to ask you for in 5 years.
Well, I'm sure every board of directors when it changes is going to ask for them because they make so much money in other games. But then they're just going to say, look, you want to add those in, everyone's going to quit. It will kill the game. They know that it's guaranteed to kill the game. It's happened before. It'll happen again.
Yeah,
exactly.
We riot at the smallest thing, let alone we riot at our salvaging XP, like our salvaging XP getting nerfed. we even sniff microtransactions in a tweet or board of directors. We're done. So, let alone if they came out with it, it would be over.
Yeah.
The game would die, which would be sad. So I think they know they can't do it.
It would be sad. There's a lot of comfort in that. I actually watched a YouTube video of him being interviewed a couple months ago when he took over, and he seemed like a genuine dude. He said a lot of the same stuff we kind of been talking about, but
was that
microtransactions and
outdoors one? They're like sitting on a bridge.
Yes, yeah.
I watched that one.
Somewhere in
that was actually when my opinion of him turned to good. Because originally I didn't trust him at all, and that
I didn't really know.
We're not exactly a community known for our trust, our open, trusting relationship. Hey, there's a new CEO. Hey, I can't wait to see him. Bring him on in.
Bring him in.
Hey, fuck this guy. We hate it. We've sniffed that he did microtransactions at this company. We're coming for him.
I do hate
when he got hired. Do you not remember the vitriol that was coming on Reddit and stuff?
Well, I hate that Mod Pip took the bullet for that freaking survey in February or whatever. Because so Mod Pip was the previous CEO, and basically people were calling for his head because the survey went out that we were memeing about earlier. About would you pay more money for RuneScape? Would you pay more money for support that we should give you anyways?
Mm-hmm. So tone deaf. Yeah, it was crazy.
But immediately after that, people were everyone was just saying, Mod Pip, not even knowing if he even knew about the survey. Because I work in marketing. Let me tell you, my CEO doesn't know about everything I do. But they, that is true. The people under him know because they're my boss, But I felt bad for the guy. And then all of a sudden you have Mod North taking his place, and Mod Pip was here for I'm pretty sure over a decade. It's not like he wasn't here for it.
Jeez.
Yeah. So, feel bad for him. Hopefully he's doing fine. And you never know what's going on behind the scenes. So, but yeah, check out that podcast. It's good.
Check out that podcast. This is a great transition. Speaking of player support, do you want to pay extra? You don't have to, because there is a player support roadmap that has come out, or that did come out, and they gave an update.
Winter 2037.
Hey, it's implemented. They're rolling it right along now. So we're to the end of the roadmap that started winter 2024. That was, well, I guess it would have started before then. Probably announced. I don't remember when they announced it, but yeah, just kind of giving an update. We have a couple bullet points here, just on customer feedback, support, appeals, and stuff like that. But since they have implemented this new player support model, the customer satisfaction, they say, has increased from 61% to 81%.
Yeah,
which is a pretty sizable jump, I would say.
That's
especially big. In customer relations style, I guess, when everyone's probably more going to be coming in with a negative attitude.
Yeah.
Just in general, from the nature of the beast. If this is right, Hoyt, what you put in here, this says there's been 135,000 RuneScape 3 bans.
Yep.
And 4.29 million old school RuneScape bans. With 30.5 trillion gold removed from RS3 and 26.8 trillion RuneScape gold removed from OSRS.
Almost the same.
And give me that money. I would love that. That'd be great.
Yeah, anyone who doesn't know,
a small price of
I think
$1 million.
What's the exchange rate? Don't you just add at least a 0 for the RS3 gold to RuneScape gold?
Oh, like
I think
minimum.
it's like 12
or 2.
I think it's like 12 to 1.
12 to 1. Okay. So yeah, it's 12 to 1, and they've removed about the same wealth from both games. But
well, do you think we have 12 to 1 players to them?
I was about to say
it's 10,
we have about 10 to 1 players.
Okay,
they average 20k
so
peeps. We average 200.
Yeah, going RS3 to OSRS, it's like 10. It's 10.5 about to 1.
Okay.
What's it like to transfer OSRS to Brighter Shores coin?
You can't trade. You can trade in that game now. I'm actually an Iron Man in Brighter Shore.
By the way.
Oh, you missed out, dude. You could have had this crazy lucrative business model.
You guys would be proud. I actually officially stopped doing the holiday events as of this Christmas, because I've done 1 year of. I did the first Christmas, the first Halloween, etc. So now that we're on the second, I'm like, I don't need it. I have the OG shit in case it's ever good.
Nice.
The listeners think we're going to talk about ToB, but nah. We're an hour in. We're talking Brighter Shores.
Baited.
Nope. Yep. Yeah. Join us next week, guys, when we swear we're not going to talk about sailing.
This is going to be like a 3-hour episode, I swear.
We're in a new sailing blog.
All right, we'll jump through the rest of this, but there's been 1.4 million cheating reports resulting in actions taken and player notifications. 89,000 ban appeals processed since their relaunch last September is what this says. So last September is when they relaunched this new system, and there's been 89,000 ban appeals. It doesn't say how many have been accepted or rejected.
Just processed.
88,000 rejected.
So,
we had a look. We picked a few.
Went
we
through,
accepted.
AI.
Yeah.
And 1,000 content creators got theirs listened to. So that's not actually true.
Yeah.
It may as well be.
What about this one, guys? Have you noticed a decrease in chatbot spams at the GE?
We're
I
Iron
don't
Man.
go to the GE.
Yeah.
I've never been. Oh, I don't go very often unless I'm going to Keldagram.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I still go there because Varrock is a closed bank teleport.
Yeah, you're not getting
Is it-
Stella's OnlyFan ads when you go there. That's the last one I saw when I was running through.
We're not supporting that.
You keep her name out of your mouth.
We do
Yeah,
not
say
support that. You're gonna get your account
Redacted.
stolen.
Yeah.
Next, they're gonna come for
anyways.
bathwater from Stella.
Oh no.
So they've issued 46,000 chat spam mutes. reducing spam reports by 40%, well 39%. So that seems significant. I don't know. I still see it there all the time.
Maybe they just have more Iron Men now.
The players,
they're not there.
The demographic has changed now. Okay, that's that for the player support blog. They also released the player designed island competition. And so you can submit your island design to Jagex via email from now to January 7th. And this isn't something new. They've done this before. You often use community to kind of build ideas and content in the game. One of the last ones and more famous ones is Gentle Tractor. I know a lot of people have heard his name, but they used one of his ideas for Varlamore, and they're looking to do an island for sailing levels 50 to 99, so kind of upper half, and it can be 1 to 4 chunks, which is pretty significantly large.
Yeah.
Including anything underground. So I guess if you had 1 chunk above ground and 1 under, that would be 2 chunks, I guess. So 4 chunks max. It doesn't have to be an island. It can also be like a point of interest. Think of a like water volcano or shipwreck or maybe a raid.
I don't know about that one.
Pause. But it's not supposed to be like a way that you train sailing, but you do need a sailing level to get there. A couple other parameters: you can have up to 10 creatures on the island, but you cannot make your own creatures. You may use the models that they have, but you can't like come up with your own new raid boss or whatever. That's not even in the game yet, but you could make the models. So you could make like a red cow, for example. So the cow is already in game. You could just color it red or something. There's supposed to be a couple new activities, a new music track, but probably not looking at new best in slot stuff. But this is pretty cool. I know we've already got one person in the Discord who is planning on making an island, hopefully sharing it. I'm really excited to see that because I'm not as creative, or I don't even know how I would do that except for maybe drawing it on a piece of paper, and it would look really terrible.
It sounds like you don't even have to like draw it. That's just preferred. But if you just want to write like an idea to them, they'll take it.
If you just pitch an idea.
Probably would never win.
That'd be cool.
But I'm throwing that out there.
I don't know. But if you have any great ideas, send that in. The winner gets a $2,500 PC, a year of membership, and your island developed in-game as close as possible as they can make it. It probably won't be exactly. And then there's 3 runner-ups that get 1 year of membership, a desk mat, and a mystery prize.
That you will never receive.
Fortnite loot crate. Crate. Yeah. You'll get it 10 years from now.
Yeah, you'll never.
So.
I do, while we're on this topic real quick, I know
go for it.
Where the next raids is going to be.
Okay.
We already talked about this, right?
Tell us, it's going to be on an island, surely.
The bottom right of your map is the cursed archipelago. And I watched a video by Process on YouTube, and it says, OSRS, what is the cursed archipelago? And it is basically all tied into all of our quests are leading up to this. This is already in RS3, but like the Whisperer was tainted by this thing as well. So I fully think that it will. I'm so convinced from that video. So check that video out. It's actually pretty short and sweet. I'll pull it up on the screen here. Process 5.5 minutes.
This is in a spot where you can't even sail there, right?
You can't sail there yet. Yep,
it's off limits.
It's there. It's
that makes
designed.
Sense, though. That's cool. That's cool. You've obviously gone down there for charting. The water looks pretty crazy. It's usually like a 50 when you go into it.
Yeah.
There's also that.
Yeah, that almost killed me up in the Forgotten Ocean by the Fremennik one.
I reckon that they're also going to expand into this dotted sort of looking sea in the bottom left. There's lots of room for not improvements, but adding. That's the sick part about the islands, though, is you can just add huge islands in where you currently have just ocean spots. Just move stuff around and just drop them right in. There's so much room for expansion now with sailing. It's really wicked. And the Forgotten Ocean obviously is empty as well. So there's quite a bit. There's quite a bit of space. And the Untamed, we forget about the Wilderness, and they're going to do PvP apparently someday. But
that's right.
I guess we'll find out soon.
So did they expand the ocean? Because it is a lot bigger than I remember. Did they like expand all the borders? Like when you're looking at the world map?
They did not.
That's always just been
pretty sure. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know.
Maybe not.
I didn't realize how big it is. There's so many islands.
Maybe not at the bottom, but I'm pretty sure it's always been mostly like this. Sophanum maybe was a little bit.
That's crazy.
I think maybe they.
I don't think they moved any land masses, but
maybe they extended it south a little. They extended it south a bit, but not north.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty positive the desert. There's just the black wall right there. So.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool, but yeah, I just want to throw that conspiracy theory out there. And I think before it comes out, I'm sure it'd be cool if we all design our own little island and suggest it, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. So, anything else that you guys have for community stuff before we get into our long-awaited topic?
No.
Yeah, we should talk about sailing like for an hour or something.
Yeah, so let's talk deep sea salvaging.
All right, so moving right along. Now that we are over an hour into this episode, let's get to our main topic. This is the Theater of Blood. I'm really excited to talk about this today, guys. Thank you for letting me host. This is going to be a great episode. I'm going to kind of try to keep this not surface level, but there's so much that goes in. It's so complex, this raid that we all love. And I'm going to try to keep it to like if you're trying to learn the rooms, and if you're going to, try to, if you've done 100 plus, 1,000 plus raids, you're probably going to learn something new from this podcast, because all of these things that we're going to talk about are just things that you can improve on or implement in your runs, as well as we'll talk about a couple world record strats and some of the sweaty stuff. We can't
state your credentials before we get started. I want to hear.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to.
This raid. State your credentials, Mr.
Yeah,
Poplo.
You too, Heartless. We'll go around.
He's the real gamer. I'm just a fake tobber.
I've done more than 100 Theater of Bloods and more than 300 hard modes. So
Poplo's done like 3,000 Theater of Blood, and 2,000 of them are hard modes. He's literally on the front page, so you cannot learn from a better player than
I've
him.
backslid. I'm rank 40 hard mode.
Rank 40. So. Excuse me. He's on the top of the second page of the front of hard mode ToB, and he only ToBs with people on the front page. By the way,
number one, my number one buddy out there. Number one hard mode, buddy.
But Philip and Vexty and all the people you go with are so good that on my very first hard mode ToB that Poplo took me on, we got the Grandmaster time and I had a whip. So I'm just telling you that they are very, very good at the raid.
Yeah. So basically, for your hard mode, I mean, that was like years long grind. I made some amazing friends, some of whom have been listed, and just absolute beasts of gamers to do these raids with. I've done 1,900 hard modes and I don't know, a couple hundred regulars, but hard mode's kind of where my bread and butter is. I love those. And honestly, the best prize is the friends you make along the way, right?
It's
so
true.
Who cares if it's a purple chest? You're just out there swinging your scythe with your boys.
And
I'll remind you that when I ask you to do a ToB with me.
As far as my credentials are not as high as Poplo, but I have a lot more regular KC because I was hunting this scythe. I have like 1,300 or something, and then about 300 hard modes. However, I do have a significant advantage over Poplo in terms of Theater of Blood experience, and that is about 450 KC of mine was done on 416, the most insane solo ToB or free-for-all ToB world. That's where I learned. That's where I taught my close friend Pump Flexin'. We did over 300 raids on 416 together, and we saw the most insane things. So I'm sure some of them will come up as we go.
You're mad, lad.
Yeah, we sure are.
Done a whopping 40 in the main game, and probably like 100 or so, and leagues and whatnot when you could not die and just run through the 2-tick Tebow. Yeah.
But 40 is enough to know you know what you're doing though.
40, yeah.
I know the boss.
Yeah, you know the rooms. Yeah.
You're not gonna die as much, and you get the hang of the basics. So
yeah. Great.
All right. Take it away, Poplo.
Okay, yeah, quick kind of overview. We're kind of going to go through each room, kind of discuss strategies and stuff as you were learning the raid and going through it. But quick lore background, I guess. This was originally created by Lady Verzik as a way to lure blood sacrifices into the theater, promising them respite from the blood ties that they had to do, and they got so lazy that they could just sit back and people would go in the theater and try to fight and earn their freedom, that basically their food just came to them. It's a pretty messed up story. If you want to read more, you can go read the lore behind it. I kind of want to do a little lore for each room too, because I think they're super interesting. Just a little topic.
Yeah, she lures in the victims with the promise of a sanguine dust.
I should call
That's
her.
right. And then she sucks your soul for 4 freaking years.
I'm in.
I know firsthand. This obviously is the most popular, well, not the most popular raid, but in terms of number, but it's the most well-liked.
I think certainly is the most well-liked when you've started to learn it.
Yeah. When you've dipped your toes into it, it's got a really big barrier to entry that I think gets gatekept a lot. And there's a lot of things that you can do to really throw off your team in this one. And like if you die, then you're out for the rest of the room. Like you don't get to go back and experience more. And if your team clears the room, then you get to respawn. But I think that's part of where the barrier to entry comes. But it is the best. It is super, super mechanical, super in-depth. Just like the more time you spend in there, the more you learn, the more you get to interact with it. I still learn things after doing thousands of raids. So that's what's so great. It's so complex.
It's no Tombs of a Basket, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, so what is it about the raid that makes people not want to take learners? Is it the fact that it's harder to just carry compared to Chambers or TOA? Because TOA, right, if you die in the room, you're out. But I think you can still, you can do a 15-minute Akka fight, but...
TO has the invitations, though, which sort of, balance that out.
Yeah,
you can learners, you can just, lower the difficulty of the raid to, guarantee that you get a kill. But
or turn on the death invocation.
What do you think, Poplo? I'm curious. It's a great question by Hoyt, because it's definitely something that shows up.
I think that the reason that this one is so hard to bring learners on is because I honestly think it's because it's the most role specific raid that we have, where everyone in the raid has their own role, and every role has a pivotal job at some point in the raid. And if you're a learner, you're not going to do that job, or you're not going to do that job well, and so other people are going to have to compensate, or just can't even do it if they're not on the right spell book, or I think there's also a lot of mechanics that you can mess your team up, you can get people killed, and so I just think that it's just more difficult to bring people on the raid if you're more inclined to thinking that they're going to wipe the team, or that they're just not going to not do their job well enough, is kind of what I would say.
That's a good answer.
I agree, and I think you almost... So the raid can be ran by 3, 4, or 5 people. 3 usually need quite a bit of experience to do together. At least, I would say 100 KC. I would say learners, you typically need 4 people. The 4th person will be your learner, and they'll probably be set on a very specific role, and you'll teach them everything. If you're the one teaching, let's say you, Poplo, the other 2 people with you, they can't just be mugs, mugs. I mean, you can't just have people that have 15 to 20 KC. You need people who will be able to
they have to
step up and
overcompensate their
they
job.
have to step up and fill that role if the learner dies, which is almost inevitable and honestly expected when you're learning theater. So you need not just one person willing to teach, but 2 others who at least somewhat know what they're doing. And then don't just want to run with people who are guaranteeing KCs. So you need more people to be on board with taking you, and I think that's another barrier to getting people to take you.
That makes sense.
Yeah, you can't just teach them with one other person. Like in Chambers or ToB, you could just do you plus a learner, and you'd be okay.
Yeah, you can just drag them along. Same with Chambers. Like Chambers is the easy, probably the most fun to teach and the easiest, because you can just you yourself just drag a bunch of you and like one person who kind of knows what they're doing can drag like 3 learners, 4 learners through at the same time, and you know they die, they come back in, they keep getting experience. It's easier to gain experience, but in ToB, when you die, you don't gain any more experience in that room. You're just watching. It can be tough. So
I think
that's definitely one reason. What do you think, Hoyt? Have you found it tough as a learner to get teams?
No, I'm really lucky and fortunate that I am a social being who made really good friends with good players. It did take me a lot of hard work to get in those rooms, but I'm in rooms with people who, are nice enough to take me. But your average Joe isn't. I had another point I was going to say. Oh, I think the other problem with learning ToB is that, in my experience, it's just like Chambers, where all the learning is actually concentrated in the final boss room. It's so hard to get. It's 20-minute until you get to the boss room, and then you can start learning Verzik, and then you die 3 seconds into P2. And it's over. So
Verzik is really hard by comparison to the rest. You're totally right.
That makes it hard too, but I think the answer was really that role-based thing, because every other raid, you can just do every role. Like, if I'm taking a newer player, I can just do all the roles for him, but in ToB, I can't, reasonably do that. So I think that's it. But also, Heartless's point of it just takes more humans in there to carry one individual than, doing a level 600 TOA while I sit in the death little area while I watch Doormat Butterfly Akka for 30 minutes.
I'm sure we'll talk more about like how to get into ToB, but really, I think the only way to do it successfully is to make friends. Unfortunately, if you're a non-social being, it's going to be a lot harder for you, and you tend to see people that are solo players with extremely low ToB KC because, you do need friends to go with. You can't just pot the raid by yourself, or even with one close friend, you need like at minimum 3 people. So,
and I think people get frustrated because they're like, they want to get into ToB. There's 2 types of people, right? There's people who just avoid it because they've only ever heard that it's really hard. And then there's other people who are like, I want to try through error, right? I want to get in there as soon as possible and learn, which is great. But they get kind of, they get a little upset, or they don't understand, or they get frustrated when no one wants to take them. And it's not a personal thing, but I don't know. I wanted to clarify that for anyone who's like in that position. It's also an investment for the teacher. They're like investing in you, because there's probably like someone every month is asking them to teach them ToB. And if they teach them once, devote a whole night, and then they never do it again, that's like kind of a loss of investment. So,
a loss of investment. It's such
I know
a
it sounds
point, though,
cruel.
Yeah. It's not like cruel though, because my real life job is a teacher, and I've probably taught 20 people at least how to ToB, and you need to be in the right frame of mind. And there's been people who have asked me when I'm running ToBs, hey, can I +1 as a 4th? Like, can I join you guys? Can you teach me? And some nights I'm just not up for that. I just wanted to like grind for the scythe. I just wanted to. Sometimes it's a very, very, very different experience than when you're comfortable with the content, doing laid back. Bringing someone who has extremely low to no experience is a lot harder. So I think you just got to catch people, or like give them some warning to be like, hey, could you run a learner ToB with me like in the future? And they'll be like, yeah, like in a couple days or whatever. Cold calling sometimes doesn't always work.
I think of like when you start a new job and there's like an OG on the work site, and you like want them to teach you, but first you need to like earn their respect and show that you're being taught.
That's the gatekeeping side. That's the gatekeeping side of it to an extent, though.
Yeah, because like the OG is gonna see a new guy roll in every single week on the work site. What makes you different? So, I'm just kind of helping people who might be frustrated because like, I want to learn ToB, no one will do it with me. It's like, well, you gotta wait years. You don't have to wait years. You have to make some friends. It takes like building some rapport. And
It does. You got to jump in the voice chats. You got to like get to know people a little bit, like hop in the RaidsBank voice chat, when we're around, and chat with people.
Yeah.
Ask some questions and stuff, and like people are definitely down once they know you a little bit more. Like I think Slinder, who's a listener / newer member of the clan, he learned like pretty recently, but the lad jumped in the voices. He chilled for a bit, and then we started to like bring him along on some learners, and now he's doing a scythe rebuild, and he's thinking about getting his Infernal Cape, so he's like stepping up his gaming, and
he also didn't give up.
That's a pretty he didn't give up. He's
you
like
might have
super
to
determined.
Ask 15
he died
times.
a shit ton. True, and he'd go to we do raids, and I don't know if he sent 416s, but he experimented with the different learning avenues, and you do have to grind because it's a tough thing to learn for sure.
Yeah.
But he's like a great example of like someone who's sort of taking like a traditional path.
He's eager, but didn't give up, and kept asking. And I think I talked to him in the Discord messages because he's asking the best way to like go about that. I was like, dude, literally just keep asking and hope the right guy's on at the right time. He wants to take you under his wing, and the rest is history. But
and honestly, he's nice and he's chill too. Like he's a nice dude, and he's like easy to get along with. So it makes life so much as a someone who's teaching. I'm like, this is the kind of person I want to like hang out with.
Keep it cool.
I enjoy chatting with them. So I was like, no problem. I'll take you on a learner. But if someone's like pester, I don't know. It's just like there's a vibe situation too. Yeah. So, anyways, we've totally derailed you here, Poplo.
Yeah,
but,
sorry, Poplo.
No, that's okay. That's definitely like a mechanical barrier. I think ToB is one of the high mechanical like raids too, and just the more like APM you can do, also just you can do more things in the raid too. And so I think there has to be. That's where people are like there's like a barrier to entry.
It's a high floor, right? High floor.
Yeah, it's got a high floor.
And an awkward, hilariously low gear requirements compared to the other raids. You can do it if you have the skill. Like let's say you're returning like an Iron Man. We do this all the time. Like our friends make a new Iron Man.
Yeah.
And we bring them along with like, absolutely atrocious gear as a +1 for melee. And
green
they have green d'hide and a short bow and like a DDS, but they're tanking Verzik, and they know all the mechanics. Maybe they're not dealing a ton of damage, but they're still getting stuck in. And we'll talk about the rewards later, I'm sure, but they get a decent chance at a purple. But it's funny that you can be very effective with a low amount of gear, like a whip, elite void, and a blowpipe and a dragon warhammer. And you can carry a raid with that gear if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Anyway, so we'll keep going.
Yeah, let's jump into rewards real quick right now. So obviously, some of the rewards you can get, obviously the scythe, which Heartless just recently got.
It feels good when you pull it, I'm telling you. Or you're part of a split, plus 300 mil, 400 mil.
Yeah, that's the big mega rare there. Yes, that was juicy money. That was great. That's kind of the big ticket item. Then there's the Sanguinesti staff, which I'm so sad has just fallen out of graces.
What's it worth now?
This whole game.
I
don't even know.
I think it's worth 20 or something.
Look at how our boy is falling. Used to be 100 mil a pop. So rip.
The Grazi Rapier, which is a 4-tick stab weapon on par with Blade of Saildor and Inquisitor's Mace. Those things are cheap too. What are those at?
No way that it's on par with those.
Rapier's 35 mil. It's cheap.
35. No, I mean stats wise.
Okay,
yeah. There's only 7 uniques.
I think the Grazi Rapier is and the Sang Staff now, but I think that one it sucks so much it's just not used anywhere. Can't you maybe poke some dragons with a DFS with it sometimes, but you just don't use stab anywhere. I don't know anywhere it's used.
It's quite bad.
That too.
I think it's only used early on an account when you don't have it because there's no requirements.
It's for credit card warriors. That's it.
Basically, it's too bad.
A little bit. You can get the Justiciar armor set. So face guard, chest guard, leg guards. Super tanky.
Also useless. Except
also
for
an Inferno.
Or this for Mage Inferno camping. I mean,
truly.
The dark tech that we talked about a while ago with the eye. Don't do that. And then the Avernic Defender Hilt is the most common, unique, and it is an upgrade to the Dragon Defender, and that is still pretty good. It's getting used a little bit less with all the one-handed weapons that have come out. but
it holds its value, and it's affectionately
one-time use.
Affectionately known as the daily, because you get it quite often. It's worth usually 40 to 70 mil, and it gives you a good split every time.
Sitting at 47 right now. So
Lovely.
That's not too bad.
Lovely.
Yeah, that's a nice little split.
It's where you're gonna make
pile of them.
I have 23. It's where you're gonna make most of your money is with the Avernix. It's
every time,
good consistency.
Every time Heartless would pull one, you just say, "Throw it on the pile."
Throw it on the pile.
Throw it on the pile.
Oh, good times.
Those are the rewards. You can also get vials of blood there to make some of the higher level potions, and to charge the scythe. So, yeah. There is an entry mode, a normal mode, and a hard mode. The entry mode is often used for practice. Some of the mechanics that we'll talk about today, you can practice in entry mode. It's super accessible. It's part of the Night at the Theater quest. To complete entry mode, or to complete that quest, you have to get 1 KC at entry mode. Normal mode is kind of going to be your money raids, your bread and butter, what most people are doing, and can be, I guess, even 1 to 5 scale. Most people are going to be 3 to 5, but there's a lot of, you can solo it if you got the skills. And hard mode is every room is toned up a little bit in health and mechanics. There's new mechanics, and there's a time limit, and if you reach that time, if you beat the raid in that time limit, then you have a chance to roll the holy kit, the sanguine kit, and the sanguine dust, which are cosmetics for your scythe and for the ToB pet.
Lovely.
And the sang staff and the grassy rapier for the Sarah kit. Yeah.
Also those.
Yeah, part of the great part of ToB and why the reason I think people love it so much is that the purples come thick and fast. It's a 1 in 9 chance if no one dies to get a purple, no matter what the scale. So you're bound to see lots of purples.
Fast.
You can see back to backs. You can see.
Yeah.
They're just very consistent. You can't really go dry for that long. Even if you go 4x, that's only 40 raids. Whereas like at ToR Chambers, you can go a lot drier to see purples. Yeah. So I think that's another reason it's like kind of a beloved raid is the loot system.
Yeah, you can make some pretty good money at ToB. I think Chambers is 1 in 20 for a solo to see a purple, something like that.
For me, it's like 1 in 200 or so, yeah.
Somewhere between 200
I think it's
20.
closer to 1 in 30, but it's rare. So it's a lot more rare.
Yeah, so the purples flow a little bit more at Theater of Blood. Every death, basically, there's a point system. So in the raid, everyone who contributes to the room will get points, and those will roll towards the purple at the end. If someone dies, then it takes away points from you, and the overall chance of getting a purple is reduced by about I always say like 0.5. So like if you die in a room, then it's like a 1 in a 9.5. If 2 people die, it's a 1 in 10. That's kind of the easy math for that.
Also, why they don't want to take learners, because you're actually hurting the chance, right?
Yeah, if you die in every room, then you could get up to like a 1 in 12 chance.
Hurts the overall chance, but
it does hurt the overall chance.
But it doesn't hurt your personal chance. So it's not, if you're like an iron or whatever, it doesn't affect it that much.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Because you're not losing any points, so it's like roughly like 0.5% you lose every death. It's not so you can still rip purples on like 9 deathers.
Right,
no problem.
right.
Yeah.
It's still like, and it's honestly relatively common. You send a bunch of good raids and then you do a 9 deather and you pull a purple. It happens.
Not my raids. My raids are 10 deathers.
I think it's a really fun loot system, and it's the only loot system compared to the other raids and sort of multi-bosses that is on a point system rather than like damage percentage. So going with low gear on an Iron Man is actually viable. You have a decent chance of getting purples, even if you're going with 2 people with scythes and every max gear. You'll still have a
contribution. You're getting as many points as the other
person.
Do you guys know why they call me a leech? What's that mean?
I don't know why they would call you that, Hoyt. I only see you on the MVP.
Got it.
Yeah. So Heartless, you mentioned that the gear to start Theater of Blood is pretty pretty accessible. I know back in the day it was like Elite Void, and you just brought your whip and blowpipe and trident, and then just brought the 47 brews and 60 restores. Do you think that's still the way that people are starting to get into Theater of Blood?
Nah, bro. Starting to learn.
No. I don't know. I'm asking.
Let's say some Oath Plate.
Okay. What do you think? What do you think about it, Poplo?
I haven't done that early of a learner in a long time. I think that
are you saying
have people have a little bit of strength gear before they start getting into it.
Bandits.
Yeah, I think if you're like absolute minimum gear is only really for Iron Men. I think you want a good grasp of the other raids ideally before you get into this one. And a good grasp could be like 50 KC. You want like a decent grasp of the Slayer bosses. Desert Treasure 2 bosses will help a ton if you've done them.
Definitely.
So I would kind of recommend that, and then whatever money you have, you can sort out a gear based on that. But you definitely want Elite Void as well. It's like a massive DPS increase.
Mm-hmm. So general rule of thumb, I don't think I'll go through this whole like gear progression chart, but general rule of thumb for ToB is that strength gear is going to be king. So accuracy doesn't matter as much. There's a lot of bosses that you're going to zero defense with your Warhammer specs and BGS specs. So your accuracy doesn't really matter, but what really matters is your max hits. And basically the best way to do it is build up some strength gear until you get enough to buy a scythe. And then scythe is going to be supreme. You basically can do a scythe rebuild where you sell everything to buy a scythe and then start rebuilding with strength gear after that. There's a couple like role specific items that you'll need if you're a freezer or a meleeer or a ranger, but mostly rule of thumb is strength gear is going to be the best. And so that's looking at like ferocious gloves, blue moon or blood moon top and bottom, face guard, stuff like that, upgrading it into Oath Plate, and eventually Torva Helm, Ultor, Rancor, Prims, stuff like that. For spec weapons, the minimum requirement is definitely a Warhammer. If you don't have a Warhammer, then people probably aren't really going to want to take you, unless maybe you have a BGS. That can kind of make up for it a little bit too. But Warhammer and then Crystal Halberd and Claws are very good.
Yeah, and Claws of either variety are perfectly fine.
Yeah, Burning Claws are great.
Those are good enough. Is everyone just taking Elder Maw here now?
Yes, if you have one.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, Elder Maw is obviously going to be the best.
But BGS has its place as well in the raid, so sometimes you bring both. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's gear wise, yeah, you were right, Poplo. Strength, and then if you have Elite Void, people will definitely be more likely to take you as a learner. That's something I see as a thing. Like, oh, they've put in the effort to go and get it. It takes a while. They're like serious about learning, not just bringing crystal, Bofa and Crystal. It definitely makes a big difference.
Not to be elitist, but if you don't have Elite Void and you want to ToB, like you got some priority issues, my brother.
Yeah, because
then you're trying to leapfrog a little bit.
The reason being because Blowpipe is so ridiculous. Blowpipe goes crazy with Elite Void damage wise, because the Blowpipe attacks every 2 ticks, and you turn every boss, like Poplo said, 0 defense. So the Blowpipe rivals the Scythe in a couple of the rooms. So even without moving, you can just sit there and Blowpipe it, and you're doing ridiculous damage. And it's low requirements and high damage, and it gives you some, you can maneuver a little bit. So I highly recommend grabbing it if you want to learn ToB.
Mm-hmm.
And now is a good a time of any to go back a quick second. What makes the Warhammer and the Elder Maul, they have a percent-based damage or defense reduction, and the BGS has a flat, like, level defense reduction. What makes those different? Because that was hard when I was learning to comprehend why at raids people would take both or just one or neither.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a good quick overview would be helpful.
Yeah, so basically the Warhammer and the Elder Maul both have stat reducing special attacks, but they reduce, I think, 30 and 35% defense, respectively. So if a boss has 100 defense and you hit it with an Elder Maul spec, it reduces it by 35, it's down to 65 defense. If you hit it with another Elder Maul, it does 35% of the 65, which I don't want to do the math on that, but it doesn't roll off of the 100. Yeah. So kind of once you've hit a couple Warhammer or Elder Maul specs, then you want to bring in your BGS. And the BGS, the special attack for that, it lowers the defense flat based on what number you hit. And so if you, say, have got the defense down to 50 from your Warhammer or your Elder Maul specs, and your BGS hits a 50 or more, then it's just going to lower it all the way down to 0. Yeah. If it hits like a 25, then it lowers it by 25 defense. It would go down to 25. But that's why you're going to want to use your BGS, is because the potential to hit it all the way down to 0 is way better than using a bunch of Elder Mauls where you get diminishing returns the lower that their defense goes. So that's what we're talking about when we say getting things down to 0 defense. And basically then when you are attacking it and you're rolling your accuracy roll, then it's rolling against 0 defense. And so you're pretty much always going to hit. It makes the Scythe insane because all 3 of your hit splats are going to hit. And it makes, like Heartless said, Blowpipe with Elite Void insane because every single hit is going to pretty much do damage to the boss. So.
Thank you. Yeah, I know some people, including myself, a while ago, I was like, why are these different?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's also why order matters too, because if you BGS spec first, then you're not getting as much value out of your Warhammer or Elder Maul, because your BGS has drained it, and then the Elder Maul is only draining it by a percentage of what is already lowered. So that's why you always want to start with your Elder Mauls and then finish with your BGS to finish off those last couple levels to get 0 defense, or as close to 0 as possible. So
perfect.
Cool. Anything else you guys want to talk about gear? I don't know that we really. I guess I could talk about some roles, but I don't know if I really want to get into specific gear for specific roles. There's just a lot of
gear. I feel like I get a lot of. I see a lot of questions about the should I sell my bank and buy a scythe? And I think we covered it on like an early episode, but I think usually the answer is yes, only if you want to just do ToB, because it's so expensive to use and it's not as applicable anywhere else. There's a couple of bosses now you could use it at, but I guess you could just quickly cover that if your bank value is, what is a scythe, 1.5 mil now, or 1.2 or something?
1.5 mil, if only.
Bill.
1.
Was it 1.4?
Okay.
Bill. So if my bank is 1.4, should I sell everything and buy a scythe? What would you say to that?
Well, I think you kind of mentioned it. If you really are going to run a lot of ToB or a lot of things, that the scythe is expensive to use, but if you're going to commit to running the raid or whatever boss you're going to use the scythe with, and if you have fun with it, then heck yeah, do it. Get a Berserker ring and Dragon Boots and Barrow's Gloves. Like, keep some. I guess you don't need Barrow's Gloves if you're using Elite Void, but some of those base stuff. But if that's what you like, I'm not going to yuck anyone's yum. You go for it.
Yeah, you make the money back quick. That's the thing too. ToB is great. ToB is not only good money, it's consistent money, and then has a spike payout if you pull a scythe. So it's awesome. Yeah. Would recommend.
Cool. I would say the same thing for the other rares too. If you want to do a Tebow rebuild or a Shadow rebuild, just think about like what content you like to do and what you like to kill. If you love to do Whisperer and you want to go do that over and over, and you want to do a Shadow rebuild for all the bosses like TOA, all that stuff, then yeah, go do it. Sell stuff, get a Shadow.
Shadow's it's crazy cheap now too.
It's insane.
If you like the
I would.
If you like TOA,
if I had the money, I'd be buying Shadows. Yeah.
If I was in that range too, and I wasn't like a ToB addict, I would do Shadow rebuild, and then you could do both other raids and like Whisper.
You go to God Wars. You can do any boss with it.
Yeah.
The only downside is that it's then going to take you a very long time to get a scythe, but it is what it is. Shadow rebuild would be crazy. You can buy Ancestral like reasonably cheap. Not cheap, but you can get a set for like 300 mil plus this. It's like getting a full set of armor, max armor, which is cool in addition to the weapon.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
You kind of need it.
Yeah, you do need it.
You kind of need.
You need the Magus ring. You need
gear.
everything. Yeah, you do need everything, but it's nice that you can get everything at the same price as just the weapon for melee or range.
As just a scythe, yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of cool. So.
Yeah, so I kind of touched on it. One of the things that makes ToB just so fun is that there's some designated roles in the raid. Normally, I'll kind of speak like four man is kind of a normal scale. There's usually 2 mages, one mage, one mage and melee hybrid, 1 melee only, and 1 range. Well, I guess not only, but 1 melee role and 1 range role. And so what's kind of fun is that each room, as we'll kind of go through, we'll kind of explain what the roles are and what their jobs are in those rooms. But you kind of get your own job in each room that you have to take care of. And the main thing for the mages is using freezes to freeze Nylos. And so you're going to be on Ancient Spellbook. Melee, basically your job is to just do as much damage as possible. You bring fewer switches and you just kind of camp melee. And range is, you do melee and range, basically.
And Nylos are the crab spider thingies you see in videos if you haven't been in there.
Yeah. So we'll touch on that stuff. But if you're learning, you're probably going to do range roll, where you're just probably going to be camping blowpipe or a melee roll. It kind of depends. And just either hitting stuff or shooting stuff, and you're probably not going to get a ton of other responsibilities, which oftentimes goes better for learner and learnee, I don't know, and the teacher. So,
oh, you said range is that?
It kind of depends, but range is often,
that makes sense. Why
I'd say range is one of the learner roles because you kind of just get to sit there and be a turret.
Yeah, they let me do range, or they find out I have a ham joint and they make me do melee.
But I like range. Is really nice. Range is lovely too because at crabs you get to use a blowpipe, and because it feels so good. It's such a fast weapon that even if you're not great at knowing where things are coming from, it's very easy to catch up. Whereas like usually you have your most experienced person doing south freeze because they'll be the one maging the crabs and they can freeze pillars and they can kind of read the room a little bit during that room. So and I would say that role has gotten a lot easier with the Eye of Ayak because it's 3 tick now. So you also have a little bit of room to maneuver. 25% faster attack speed is really good for like catching up on mistakes and stuff. So it's helped quite a bit.
Nice.
You guys have anything else before we start jumping into the rooms?
Nope, I think we're good.
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right, sweet. Let's hop into the rooms then, guys. Let's dive through these. So I kind of just want to go room by room, just kind of like we're going through a raid. And obviously this starts with the Maiden of Sugadinti. I think I said that right. Nobody really knows. A quick little background lore. The Maiden of Sugadinti is actually named Seraphina, and she was a member of Mireditch, a citizen of Mireditch, who the vampires were spreading rumors that she actually completed the Theater of Blood, made it all the way through, and then she was granted freedom from the Blood Tides. That was just a rumor. That's never confirmed whether she actually was a challenger in the theater, but we know that she did not actually get her freedom, and she wasn't able to leave, and she was still giving blood tides, and she had a sickly younger brother. And one day a vampire noble came to them and offered them freedom if they would allow him to perform experiments on them, and they had really no choice but to agree. And eventually the experiments went so wrong that it turned Seraphina into the bloody Maiden of Sugadinti that we fight every single raid. So, very dark background. But, So, we kind of talked about roles and everyone kind of having their own job here in Maiden. And this is kind of where most of the role expression comes out. We mentioned that you're probably going to have 2 people who are freezing, or two mages. Their job is going to be to freeze in this room. You're going to have 1 meleeer and 1 ranger if you're going in a 4-man, which is probably going to be the normal scale. And in this room, I guess, how do we want to tackle this, guys? Do we want to go through all the mechanics? Would that be the best way to do this?
Yeah, probably explain like what Maiden does and then what we do to defeat it.
Okay, so basically, the Maiden, she throws mage attacks at you, and she also throws blood on the ground every once in a while. If you step in the blood, it'll spawn a blood spawn, I think is what it's called, and they will move around the room and leave a blood trail. You can freeze those, or you could kill them in normal mode. But if you step in it, basically she drains your health and heals her, and so you have to kill her while she's attacking you, and when she gets to 70%, 50%, and 30% health, she's going to spawn these Nylocas. And these Nylocas start at a set spot in the room, and they'll slowly walk towards the Maiden. And if they make it to her without you killing them or freezing them and then killing them, then they're going to heal her, and she's going to gain more damage off of her, all of her attacks. So basically, the more that make it to her, the more powerful she becomes. So that's where the two mage roles are very important, because their job is to freeze all of the Nylos, all of the crabs, before they get to Maiden and are able to heal her. And so there's like a protocol that each one will do, whether you're on the south side or the north side. There's 4 spawns, and the south mage is supposed to freeze the first 2 Nylos, and the north one is supposed to freeze all 4 spawns on the north side. But if they're a little bit late, then the south side can help out with some of the later crabs too. Yeah, Heartless, you've frozen with me a bunch, right? You do.
Yeah, many times. Many
a north freezer. So.
Yeah, yes, I've frozen a ton. Typically because I was a shadow guy. Because when I was hunting my scythe, shadow is like good at ToB if you know what you're doing. It's I had to freeze basically the entire time. I think it's the most fun role, but it's also the trickiest, I would say, to learn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your timing has to be good, because what you want to do is you want to freeze the crabs so that they're all stacked up right in front of Maiden, and then you can kill them with either Chinchompas by exploding on them, or continue to ice barrage them to kill them in the pile. So that's why that one has a lot of skill expression to it. Especially if you're in trios, you can do like solo freezing, which is just you only have one person freezing them. It's a little bit more of an advanced tactic. But and the other mechanic that I forgot to mention is that when Maiden attacks you, then she will drain whatever stat you have the highest combat accuracy in. So if you're sitting there in your full melee, and you're just scything AFK style, then she's going to drain your melee combat skills. And so that's why you see a bunch of people switch to like their twisted bow or something else, a different weapon, right before she attacks, so that your accuracy goes up with that weapon, and then maybe she'll drain your range level instead of your melee, and then you can switch back to your scythe and you can keep attacking on full stats. So that's kind of the mechanics. Hoyt, what role do you normally take in this room?
Yeah, so they tell me to just go to the side and don't get hit by anything and shoot Maiden. Yeah. So I just blow a pipe and click to move every tick, and hope nobody sees me get hit with a blood splat. But and then part of that is also whenever the Nylocas get frozen by me, like helping take out the ones that aren't stacked, I guess. Mm-hmm. But that's usually my MO is to stay out of things.
Yeah. No, you'll learn. You'll get there. You'll learn how to freeze. But
one thing I think people often don't understand is how does she choose the tank?
So tank is
something about being close to it.
Yep. So tank is chosen by proximity, and she'll choose north and east side first. So if you're on the south side, so if there's one person on the north side and one person on the south side, both meleeing her, she's going to prioritize the north side over the south. If that north side person steps back 1 square, then the south side person is closer, and she's going to attack the south person. So it goes proximity first, and then it goes, there's like, I think it's east first, and then north, and then maybe south and west. I can't remember if east or north takes priority. I think east takes priority.
This is what I'm saying. Yeah. No one truly knows.
So basically, a lot of the times what you'll see is, like in trios, the mage will try to tank a little bit more, because then after the crabs are frozen, they can use Blood Barrage to heal back up. And so the other people are taking less damage, and the mage can heal it all up, whereas the other people would have to use Bruise or something if you're just meleeing. So that's a little bit the strategy. It's really troll if you're standing there like you're going to tank, and then you back up at the last second, because then someone else will take the tank and take the hit, and sometimes if they haven't switched like their weapon, then like they'll get drained. And one of the biggest things that I see from just like normal money raids is just people not like switching their weapons or switching their accuracy, and then all of a sudden they're scything at like 105 strength and attack rather than 118. So
there we
go. Yeah, that's tips. Kind of, yeah, I got them on. That's kind of the tips for Maiden. Hard mode, things ramp up a little bit. So the difference between normal mode and hard mode is that in hard mode, the blood spawns that leave blood trails, you can freeze them, but you can't kill them, and the blood trails like won't go away, so they stay on the ground.
Oh, really?
Yep. So once there's a blood spot on the ground, then you can't like clean it up. In normal mode, they'll go away after like a certain amount of time. They'll just clear themselves. But in hard mode, they won't go away. The other thing in hard mode is that every crab that goes into her, no matter how much health it has, it speeds up her attack speed as well as gaining her damage. And so it powers her up, and she starts attacking faster. So if you miss a bunch of crabs and they all go in, even if they're like 1 HP, she's going to start machine gunning you, like, towards the end of the fight. So.
Oh, man. I think it'd be cool for each boss if you try to give directions as if I'm, like, the learner. Well, I am, but as if I've never gone in there. I just did the Night at the Theater.
Yeah.
So Hoyt's standing there at the gate about to click in. What are your directions for me?
All right. We're going to say Hoyt's on the range roll, because that's probably the easiest one to learn on. And basically, when you go in, everyone's going to start off with Warhammer spec, and then the meleeer is going to use his BGS. And we're going to try to get the Maiden as close to 0 defense as possible. And then you're going to switch back into your range gear, and you're going to stand back, and you're going to blow pipe it. Crabs, like I said, are going to spawn around 70%. Once she gets under 70%. And the way that they get frozen, there's going to be a couple crabs that are not on the pile, and your job would be to blow pipe those crabs that are not on the pile. So once all the crabs that are not on the pile are dead, then you can go back to shooting Maiden. And the same thing's going to happen at 50s, the exact same way, after she goes below 50% health, and then the same thing's going to happen again when she goes below 30% health. Other than that, you're going to try to dodge blood. If you feel like spicy and want to go in and try to tank a couple hits, then you can. But other than that, that's kind of going to be...
Do you kill the blood in normal, or just ignore them and they'll go away, right?
I would say in a decent team, you're not going to kill them. You're going to
because you just kill the boss so fast, it's a waste.
Yeah, if you have if you're in there with like 3 scythers, you're not going to kill it. Maybe they'll freeze it if there's a bunch of blood spawns, because every time you step in blood, it has a chance to spawn another one. So maybe if there's a bunch of them that spawn, you're going to kill them. But overall, you could freeze them just so they're not making more trails, but it doesn't really help you to kill them in normal mode. Hard mode, smaller teams especially, it's a little bit more worth it to freeze them. But in 4s and 5s, honestly, you just ignore them. So.
And this is one of like the 2 places where the Tenals ticks are used, right? Are they still used or not really?
Yeah, so once you get into a little bit more advanced teams, yeah, that's a great question. Then the Ralos is actually way better than BGS, because it I think if I'm correct, the Ralos lowers defense based off of her magic level. And so because she attacks with magic and her magic level is really high, then if you hit 1 or 2 Elder Maul specs, then 1 or 2 max Ralos specs will lower her all the way down to 0 defense. And there's no RNG based on whether your BGS hits big or not.
And then it'll just lower claws, her. So it's really nice.
Yep. Yeah, and then everyone else gets claws. And so the other thing that lets you do is hopping into a little bit more of the advanced tactics is then if you're in like a 5-man team, there's these things that you can do. There's this thing you can do called stacking, and most of the hard mode we do raids teams require stacking in 5-mans, and what that means basically is that when 70s spawn, then the people who are not freezing, they're going to send their claw specs on Maiden to try to just do as much damage as possible while the 2 mages are freezing the crabs, and you're going to try to get it down to 50% health as quick as you can, because then you can stack the 70% crabs and the 50% crabs on top of each other, and then you can kill them all at the same time. Does that make sense?
Interesting, okay.
Yeah, basically there's lots of layers to it, right?
There's what?
Lots of layers to Maiden, like you know how to make it faster.
Yeah, there's a ton of layers to Maiden. It's one of probably the most in-depth, like I said, the most in-depth role rooms. But yeah, stacking is a great thing to learn. You could do it in 4s if you have like a whole, like a full team, a full-size team. 5s are the most consistent. It's pretty easy to stack in 5s. And then nobody ever stacks the 50s and 30s crabs. Hardly. No one's doing that. And then the last thing you can do in a 4 and 5-man team is called skipping. So there's stacking and skipping. I explained stacking. You can do that in normal and hard mode. And skipping you can also do in normal and hard mode. And basically what that is when 30% crabs spawn, the 2 mages go and they freeze them like normal. But everyone else is also attacking Maiden and just trying to kill her basically before those 30% crabs become unfrozen. So once they get frozen, then once they spawn, nobody is attacking the crabs at 30s, and everyone is just piling damage onto Maiden, trying to kill her before those crabs get unfrozen. And that's skipping. So, and that's going to be a pretty normal thing to do in 4s and 5s. It's a little bit harder to do in 3s because you don't have as much damage while people are freezing. You're taking a higher percent of your damage away from Maiden and putting it towards freezing. So
I looked up the Tanal's ticks because I had never really read their special attack, probably because I don't have them and won't get them for a while unless I get lucky. But so yeah, just for anyone else who wasn't 100% sure how they work, you have 50% special attack to use their spec, and it does 2 hit splats for each spec. Each hit splat, if it lands, is 10% magic level reduction. Defense level, it reduces the target's defense level by 10% of the target's magic level.
Yep.
So you have a potential for every one person could get 4 successful hits from 2 specs.
Yep.
Up to 40% of magic level would be the defense reduction.
Yeah.
And since it uses their magic level, you don't get the diminishing returns like you do on a Warhammer.
Correct, yeah.
Which is also interesting.
Yep.
So it's cool. Just there's not many times we get to talk about the Rallis, so
yeah, this is like one of the few places that it really shines, because it's very
the Olmhead?
Very consistent. Yeah, this Olmhead in higher scales
and Zulrah, but who's doing that as Zulrah?
I didn't know that. I didn't know anyone was doing it as Zulrah.
Oh yeah, the wiki says Zulrah because you can't Warhammer Zulrah, right? Because you can't get up to her. So
right,
it's interesting, but nobody's doing that because you kill Zulrah faster and you can spec her.
Yeah, it's not worth wasting the time to spec.
Yeah.
So
didn't mean to derail you, but yeah, that's
fine.
It's cool.
That's kind of an overview of Maiden. The last thing that I was going to talk about is for those people who are freezing. Something that you can do is be watching for scuffed crab spawns. And so if you're learning the freeze roll, you probably won't know this, but if you've been doing it for a while, then I would just say after the next raid that you go in, if you don't know what a scuffed crab spawn is after you do your next raid, then mark the tile that the first crab spawns on, like mark those 4. And then sometime when you're doing a raid, there will be a scuffed crab spawn where they'll actually spawn one tile behind where they normally spawn. And and what that means is that when you're doing your freezing, then everything is going to be delayed by 1 tick. You have to wait 1 tick, otherwise you're going to miss a crab going in, or you're not going to stack them on the pile on the right spots. And the reason that happens is something to do with like loading an instance in the game. It's some type of code thing, but just keep an eye out for scuffed crab spawns, and you can see it too, like if you Google it or whatever. But just knowing when a crab spawn is scuffed and adjusting accordingly can definitely help just to keep things nice and smooth. So it happens a lot more in normal mode. It hardly ever happens in hard mode. And if the first crab spawns are scuffed, then all the rest of them are going to be scuffed as well for that raid. So
interesting.
Reminds
me of the scuffed crystals at home.
It's pretty much the same thing where those fall like 1 tick faster. Is that right? The scuffed crystals.
Yeah. Murder you.
Yeah, pretty much. It's that exact same thing, except it's 1 tick behind. So all the crabs will spawn 1 tick behind where they're normally supposed to spawn when they're walking in.
Gotcha.
So, Heartless, do you have anything to add to Maiden?
No, it's like it's got lots of layers, like lots of depth to it, but generally as a learner, it's pretty straightforward. You dump your hammers and then you hit it with the blowpipe, kill crabs off the stacks, and get to it. I think it's probably my favorite room of the non-Verzik rooms, I would say.
It's definitely one of the favorite rooms when you're not resetting, going for speed times, right?
Yeah, that's
then
true,
you're like, oh god, another Maiden.
Yeah, I think it's got a lot of like layers to it, so I find it quite fun. And at a baseline level, it's pretty straightforward. You just hit the boss and hit your hammers and don't get hit by blood. And it's relatively straightforward, but lots of room to learn new tech. So that's it's good.
Did you guys know there's actually 4 NPC models for Maiden throughout the fight?
Really? Oh, one of them, because
she gets darker. Her head has like a split in it. I didn't know these existed. I'm showing it.
Is that when she starts attacking like crazy fast?
But yeah, she's like bright and then 70% health. She's a little darker, has a thing in her skull, 50%. You can see her rib cage, the skull, and then 30%. She's got different colored legs and rib cage and her head.
Oh, so she like looks weaker the more her health goes down
as you're killing her.
I never knew
Whoa, that's really cool. I never knew that.
Huge tech.
I don't know if that happens during the fight or if it's just on the wiki data mine, but it says the health percentage in the model.
We'll have to pay attention next time.
So, take a
look.
Let
us know.
Like I said, you've done 1,000 raids or whatever, then you're probably going to learn something here. So
yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Last thing I'll have for Maiden is just if you have done a bunch of raids and you're going for Grandmasters or something and you want any tips on Maiden, I would say learn your solo freezing if that's your role. Otherwise, just make sure that you are switching your weapon so that you're not getting your melee stats drained. You always want to be hitting on 118 stats. If you do get drained, you're going to want to repot be always hitting max, because you really need those strength levels, especially when it's 0 defense and you're swinging a scythe. It makes a big difference what your actual stats are. And then just being on top of your stacking and skipping is really important. And the last thing you can add, if you're going for Grandmasters and you have been doing melee roll mostly, then you can bring a Din's Bulwark. And if you spec North 2, after you've stacked 70s and 50s, you'll get an absolutely insane XP drop because it hits in a 10 by 10 tile from where you're at, and you're basically hitting like 15 crabs at once or something. So you'll get a crazy huge XP drop. It helps to clear a lot of the crab damage and heals Maiden for a lot less because of the low health that the crabs are at. And yeah, those are my pro tips for anybody out there who's trying to decrease their Maiden time go for Grandmasters.
Zoom in. Would you guys say that the Dinny B is a weapon? Just out of curiosity.
It is a weapon.
Yes.
The way that people use it.
It's funny because during the last bingo I was in, we were talking about we got a Dinny B and they said it didn't count as a weapon, and then our team kind of had a bit of a meltdown, as it were. And then they ended to respect though. They ended up saying they ended up changing their minds, the mods, and being like, yeah, actually it is a weapon. It was a bit of an oversight. Okay. So everyone was happy in the end.
I would even say for how much
a trick question.
It's a trick question.
But I mean, it is. It's obviously a weapon, but initially you think, well, it's a shield. Of course, it's not a weapon. A rune kite shield's not a weapon, but doesn't it go in the main hand?
Yeah, and you hit with it. And Odablock just released a video PKing with it, so it is. I'd say it's a weapon for sure.
It scales damage based off of your defense, right? So
yeah, it does, yeah.
So it's a weapon.
Definitely.
Yeah. There's some Inferno speedrun tech using Bulwark now, and it's
really. Oh my goodness,
it's disgusting. In the new world record video,
the nibblers.
You can just spec everything in the whole room.
Everything.
Literally, if you don't need health and you have a Bulwark, then you just flick that on and spec something, and you'll hit 6 monsters if they're all around you for tons of damage. Crazy.
Wow.
So, yeah, I think that's mostly what I had for Maiden. Shall we move on?
Very good.
Let's do it.
All right.
Sounds good.
Let's move on. Next room is the Pestilent Bloat. Lore background. This was an experiment that was commissioned by Lady Verzik to be created by a vampire butcher. And this butcher basically stitched all these pieces together, and Bloat is made using, this is hilarious, I didn't know this, using 3 giant heads, an ogre's corpse, 4 buckets of human blood, 2 cyclops arms, 2 catapulpon legs, the stuff in the stronghold security.
Yeah, the hardcore Iron Man killer. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we know those. We know those ones.
Also an apple pie and a sense of pride. So we stitched all those things together and basically made Frankenstein's monster.
Pie. Hilarious.
That
I reckon he had more than one apple pie.
Yeah, I think he had quite a few.
It just says 1.
So,
the
glutton for the holidays.
Yeah, people hate to see the bloat showing up to Thanksgiving.
Oh, no.
Doesn't bring a thing.
He eats everything.
Yeah. He's probably got something to say about everyone's baking too.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
he doesn't even taste it. It just goes
definitely
down.
Not your baking though. He eated all those cookies that
not
you
mine.
made. My God, those look good. If anyone hasn't seen Hoyt's cookies in the Discord, they look powerful.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Bloat would one take
nothing
them.
Like Hoyt's cookie.
Yeah. Okay, so
vacuum him up.
Let's hop into the room. So basically, when you go into Bloat, he doesn't actually. This is one of the only bosses that doesn't actually like directly attack you, and he basically just walks around the room. There's a giant pillar in the middle, and he just walks around the outside. Basically, this is kind of like a game of hide and seek, where you want to stay on the opposite side of the pillar from the Bloat. Otherwise, he shoots these flies at you that will bounce around between you and your team, dealing a lot of damage. And every person who gets seen by Bloat and attacked by flies can bounce it to another person. And so if all 5 of you get seen, you're going to get 5 flies, and they're all going to bounce between your team, and it's going to be massive damage. As he's walking around, eventually his chest will start to flash, and he's basically going to like power down, where he kind of goes into sleep mode. And this is when you're going to be doing all your damage. This is when you're going to run in and attack him before he wakes up. When he wakes up, he's going to do a really powerful stomp, and that's going to do up to 80 damage. And then he's going to start either walking or running around the room again. If he's below 70% health and above 20% health, then he's going to be running. And if he's outside of those parameters, then he's just going to continue to walk. Any damage that is done while he is walking around the room is halved, and damage in when he's down, when he's in sleep mode, is full damage. He's also considered an undead, so you're going to want to use a salve amulet and basically scythe him. Melee is going to be your best bet when he goes down. The other thing is, after the first time that he goes down, then when he's walking around the room or running around the room again, he's going to be dropping meat from the ceiling, basically. This is the whole butcher theme. He's dropping meat, and there's going to be shadows on the floor where the meat falls, and if you get hit by one of those meat, then it's going to stun you. You take damage, it's going to stun you, and you're not going to be able to move for a couple seconds. And during that time, he can walk around a corner, and he can basically fly you to death. So you're going to definitely want to be dodging those meats.
That would never happen to me.
No one's ever got meated here. No one's ever died to bloat.
Bloat deaths don't count.
This is the room you're gonna die in the most. 100%.
Yeah, this is the room also that like all the noobs say like, oh, these guys who've been doing so many raids, they always die at bloat. They don't know what they're doing. Like, these guys are actually so bad. But little do they know that once you've done so many raids, then you know how many downs it should take to kill the bloat, how many times he goes to sleep that it should take to kill him. And basically, Heartless, we've said this before, like, if it's not a 2 down, it's a wipe. Like, you stay to kill him, and if it takes longer, then we're wiping, or we're staying the whole time.
Basically, with any game, the more comfortable you get with it, the more you push your limits, right? So
yeah, you're gonna,
Bloat is one of those places where you just get punished very easily for staying slightly too long. So it's like a fine line between pushing as much damage as you possibly can, and then actually just not dying and playing it safe.
Yeah, so staying alive.
I think like workplace injuries don't come from the new guys; they come from the experienced and complacent.
Exactly.
Yeah, like, I've done it a million times.
It's honestly, it's 100% true.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a really easy room.
Jimmy 9 fingers.
Jimmy 9 fingers. Yeah. This is a really easy room to die into. You can just get stacked out or stomped and just die pretty much immediately.
Yeah.
So basically, I'll take you through the room, Hoyt, if you just come in here. Basically, what you're probably going to do in a 4 or 5 man team is one person is going to go in and start running around, dodging bloat on the other side of the pillar. And then you're probably the rest of the team is most likely going to wait outside the door. And that's mostly just to like not take damage, just to like conserve health. You get to chill for a minute while one person is going around and dodging him. And then when the timer is up and he goes down, oftentimes he'll go down in normal mode. He'll go down right in front of the barrier where everyone is standing by. And so it's actually faster to just go in the barrier as soon as he goes down and start attacking him right there, rather than having to run all the way around the pillar. So once he goes down first, then you're going to go in and you're going to start attacking him. You're going to dump your claws on the first one if you have those. And this is where you're going to bring your crystal halberd is really important, because what you want to do is you want to try to use your crystal halberd, which has a really, really long cooldown. I think it's 8 ticks cooldown. You're going to want to use that on your last attack, right before you're about to run away, right before he's going to wake up and stomp, is you can do a massive amount of damage right before you run away. And then you're not losing any damage. You're not wasting any ticks from your cooldown, is because you're back to the phase where you're running around the pillar trying to dodge him. So this is one of the most important rooms to bring your crystal halberd in. And then once he goes back up, you're going to continue running around the room, dodging the feet, and then just rinse and repeat every time he goes down, basically. So the room, it's pretty simple, it's straightforward, but it's super easy to miss a shadow, get hit by a meat, and die, or fly your whole team and kill everybody. So,
do you remember the number of it's 3 or some number of whips and then Chally spec and run? I never remember the numbers. I don't know if Heartless.
I know with Scythe, if you're on top of it and you're gonna tank the stomp, Claw Forsyth Chally is the best you can do, and that's with tanking the stomp. But you have to be on it. Claw 3 Scythe Chally is normally what everybody does.
Yeah,
so that would be.
It's the same with the
4 whip.
Probably like
it's the same with the whip.
Whips,
it's 4 whips and Chally, and you basically never get hit.
Okay.
On the first one, but you can do more you can do less. You have to do less on the second one.
Yeah, depending on how far away you are.
Exactly.
I'd say you want to do minimum of 4 whips if you're paying attention.
Yeah.
If you're getting right in there.
Very good.
Yeah, the next little advanced tip you can do is starting to tank stomps and tick eat the stomps. And so what this means is on the first or second down, basically you have your full health bar. Normally people will angler up to 121, and that means that you can tank one of the stomps, and even if it maxes on you, it's going to hit an 80 only. And then you're going to be down to 40 health minimum, but it lets you do more damage and get him lower by tanking one of the stomps. You can also flinch him, and so his stomp has a radius where it won't actually go around corners, but it will still hit if you're 4 tiles away. So what you do with your Crystal Halberd is you back up 1 because it has an extra attack range on halberds, and then you run around a corner 4 tiles, so you're 5 tiles away. And then as soon as he stomps, you run in and you Crystal Halberd him, and then you run back out. And what that does is it lets you avoid the actual stomp damage, so you're not tanking like an 80 from the stomp, but you still get to go in and Crystal Halberd him at the expense of maybe taking 1 or 2 fly damage, which can hit, I think, 11 or 12 max. So not a lot less punishing. So that's kind of the more advanced tips, is start learning when to tank stomps and when you can go back and flinch. My good buddy Vexty and I were super notorious for flinching at the exact same time on the same tile and passing a bunch of flies back and forth between us, normally doing a lot more damage to us and to our teammates than we expect to do. But it's the same thing, always trying to milk that damage. So
always.
Yeah, there's a few great plugins for this room too. So the first one is Low Detail plus Skybox will completely remove the floor, and then it will turn it into the color of your choice. So usually you can go with like a light gray or something brighter, like a light pink, something that's not too harsh on the eyes. If you do that, then you can easily see the meats as they drop between the phases. So that's something that people quite often do, is they just turn on Low Detail for the raid. It's quite helpful.
Yeah.
And then the other plugin is ToB QOL, which is just like probably the best ToB plugin in general. And one of the settings removes the chains. So yeah, it's helpful so that you just have like less visual clutter. Because
less clutter.
The room can be quite messy on the eyes to sort of see what's going on. So that's what I would recommend. There's also a little bit of dark tech if you're interested from my 416 days. So there's an item called the Calquat Keg. Are you guys familiar with it?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So the Calquat Keg is this massive chugging this beer, and when you drink it, your character will visually stay in the same place for 6 game ticks. So you can run 12 tiles. Basically, while the animation is happening, you can still move. So what you can do is you can bring a bunch of food, eat up in Phoenix necklaces, which will reset your health when it gets too low, kind of like Redemption. And you can stand next to Bloat, drink the Calquat Keg, and your team will think, you're dying on the far side of the room, but all the damage will stack up, and it won't trigger until 6 ticks later. So you can immediately dunk 6 ticks of flies onto your teammates. So it's like 6 rounds of 15 damage. And you can absolutely wipe a team without them having any clue what happened.
No clue what happened.
So you drink the keg and then you bolt. I've seen it used in chambers as well. This is maybe a little bit of free for all trolling world tech. But when you in chambers, there's a special attack that's basically teleport rings surround you with different colors, and you have to stand on the same tile as the other person, or you take 5 damage for each tile that you're apart. So what you can do is you can meet them on the tile that you're supposed to, which there's like one called Thumb that everyone meets on. You meet on Thumb, drink the keg so that it looks like you're still there, and to just rip it across the other side of the room 12 tiles away, and they take minimum 60 damage. And they get teleported into the far corner. It's top tier trolling if anyone ever wants to try that. So that's the Calquat keg. There's many things that can be done with it.
I've seen people spread burn with
just
it
the
too.
same thing Noob Type did with the snowman stall.
Similar, yeah, it's very
same
similar
concept.
Calquat keg is powerful.
Mm-hmm.
That's
awesome.
So there we go, a little bit of tech for everyone. But Bloat, you're gonna die a lot. It's all good. You'll be fine.
Yep, it's just fine.
They don't count.
Bloat also
Bloat
takes
don't
away.
count.
It all they do though. They
Yes,
take 40%
thank
of
you.
your points away if you die at Bloat. So in the future chests, you get significantly less points because Bloat takes 40% of them away if you die there. I don't know why it's so much higher than the other rooms, but it is. So Bloat deaths are very painful for when you want to go and buy items from the chest later.
Yeah, they are painful, but all the pros will say bloat deaths don't count.
It's true.
Everyone knows that. So.
That's the saying.
Even though they do. Last thing I had for bloat is if you're same thing. If you're going for grandmasters, the next thing that to step up you want to do for your speed run times is learn how to Phoenix Necklace.
Oof.
And Heartless kind of mentioned it. I'm not going to get into all the Phoenix Necklace tech here, but it's something that you can also practice in entry mode, is going in and doing damage while he's walking and wearing these Phoenix Necklaces, just tanking the flies. And what it does is, like Heartless said, it heals you, like same as Redemption kind of does when your health drops below, I think it's 20% for Phoenix Necklaces, so below 18. And then what they also do is when they heal you, then they ignore all the damage from any projectiles that are already flying. So it ignores the damage from the other flies that are coming at you at the same time. And then you can continue, you can fill up your inventory with these basically. Some people bring like 13 to 15 of them, and they'll just be swinging, scything bloat, and just putting on Phoenix Necklace after Phoenix Necklace to stay alive.
It's real nerd stuff right here.
Yeah, this is some real nerd stuff. A lot of people do it for 5-man Grandmaster speedrun times still. Normally we'll have maybe 2 people Phoenix Necklacing bloat at the same time, one from the front, one from the back. And then what that does is they get extra damage, so that when he goes down, then everybody can run and dump all their specs and try to kill him on the first down. So that's called one down bloat.
It's called the bloat Eiffel Tower when you do that.
No.
Oh, no. Come on, that's what we got to start calling it.
Oh no.
No.
20% or below, it activates and it heals you 30% of your max.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of what I had. You guys have anything else to add for bloat?
Nope.
No, that's pretty much it.
Okay. Okay, we'll move on to the Nylocas. So I
what
said
about
Maiden.
the chest where you buy crap? Is that before Nylocas? Or no, that's after Nylocas?
It is
Both?
before. So there is a supply chest before the Nylocas that you can use to buy more brews, restores, prayer pots, sharks, stuff like that, stamina.
Yeah. It used to be common knowledge that you just buy a stamina there and then never buy anything else. But when you're starting to get comfortable with raids, like you do that when you're learning, you bring in a lot of food. But when you're starting to get comfortable, you'll end up with like way more points than you'll ever need on a normal ToB at the second chest. So you can just fill up on sharks. You can buy 2 or 3 sharks at this chest to help you get through the next 2 rooms if you need to. I do that every raid basically. I just buy 3 extra sharks, and then you can just kind of get through the raid with hard food once you're comfortable with it. So that's something to think about too once you get the hang of the raid at the chest.
This is also where Iron Men will buy stams for their house pool really early on for boosting. Not applicable for most people, but if you're ever wondering why people are talking about stams from ToB, they'll ask their friends or pay someone to get them to this chest. You can buy a stamina with no requirements.
Same with brews, right? Some like unique series will do.
Yeah, for the Saren fight.
You get a bunch of Ceradomin brews on like a hardcore for Saren or something.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
Yeah, so the way that the pot boosting works is it doesn't matter what level. You can be level 3, doesn't even matter, but you have to go into Maiden room. You don't ever have to hit it, but you have to stay alive through Maiden room. And so what they'll do is they'll basically just tell someone to like walk back and forth in the back while everybody else kills Maiden. So you're in the room, but you're not doing any damage because she attacks on proximity, remember? And then you don't even have to go into the Bloat room if you've stayed alive through Maiden. Then you just stay out of Bloat the whole time. You don't even go in if you're not comfortable doing that. But that's how the pot boosting works. And then you can buy a stamina and whatever other points you have you can spend on brews or restores, and then you just resign from the vampire. You don't have to even keep going. So rinse and repeat. Okay. So we'll move on to the next room is the Nylocas, and I'm just gonna say before we start this room, I'm not gonna go into all the waves and everything of Nylos.
It's pretty straightforward, right? You just click the color that you're assigned to.
Yeah. But I'm not going to get into it
also
that deep.
Immensely deep.
Yeah, we don't need to do a deep dive. There's lots of
This is an iceberg.
This
is an iceberg.
Let's just do the tip of it, though. Let's just do the tip.
Yeah. We're going to do the tip of the iceberg.
Just the tip.
So the Nylos are actually not native to Gielinor, but they were brought over from Vampirium by Lady Verzik. The three main species are the Ischyros, Hagios, and Toxoblos, which you'll see in the Nylos room, but they're selectively bred into the other Nylos that show up in the theater, the red ones that show up at Maiden, the purple ones that show up at Verzik, and the Principus, which is like a demi-boss that will spawn in the room during hard mode. That's the little bit of lore that I got for that, for the Nylos, they're a foreign beast from Vampirium. So Nylos, basically what it is it's a wave-based encounter, and every 4 ticks there will be a new wave that spawns, and basically what it is designed to do is continue to spawn these little spiders or crabs, I guess. They have 6 legs, I think, so everyone calls them crabs. But just spawn them over and over and over so that you just become overwhelmed and overrun eventually by the Nylos. And there are 4 pillars in the Nylo room, 1 in each corner of the room. And the Nylos will essentially head to one of the 4 pillars and start attacking it. You have to defend those pillars. If you lose a pillar, if the health of the pillar gets to 0, the pillar will collapse, you'll take a bunch of damage, and all the Nylos that were on that pillar will then turn and start attacking you, or whoever's closest to one of the players in the room. If you lose all 4 of your pillars, you fail the room, and it basically counts as a wipe. It's an insta-wipe mechanic. So that's why you got to keep those alive. In this room, this is also one of the most role-specific rooms, where the 3 different types of Nylos, Ischyros, Hagios, and Toxoblos, are each corresponding to a color, white, blue, and green, respectively. And the white ones can only take damage from melee, the blue ones can only take damage from mage, and the green ones can only take damage from range. So that's why you're going in there and you're only attacking, your job is to attack the ones that are from your style. So the mages that we talked about in Maiden, their job is to kill the blue ones. The meleeers, their job is to kill the white ones, and the ranger, Hoyt's job is to kill the green ones. So I
actually found some cool trivia on these. You want to hear it?
Yeah, let's hear it.
So those weird words, toxobolos and stuff, is they're derived from Greek. Nylocas is Hungarian, but the other ones are Greek. So Nylocas basilos is king, so it's like Nylo king.
Mm-hmm.
Toxobolos is archer. Principus is prince.
Mm-hmm.
Matamenos is bloodied. Ischyros is powerful. Hagios is holy or saint-like. And Athanatos is immortal or undying. So
cool.
Sorry, I saw that in the wiki. I thought that was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But yes, my role is always ranger, and I think it's the most fun with your blowpipe, man. You just clicking away every 2 ticks.
Yeah, so the Nylos, they have only like 9 health, so pretty low. And you, as a ranger, you're just using your blowpipe. You stand in the middle and you just spin around like a turret, and you just shoot You click green, basically, is your job.
Yeah, you just click your own color. Like at a basic level, it's like quite a simple room you can zone out. Poplo, I have one question for you. When the room is full of crabs and you have a lot of them to kill, should you kill the big ones first or the little ones?
That's a complicated question.
Answer it as if I was sub 50 KC. I'm just learning ToB. What would you kill?
I would kill the big ones first.
Okay.
Oftentimes, especially in the later waves, the big ones are going to be the aggros. So like I said, most of the crabs will go and attack the pillars. There's going to be a couple of them that will directly target the players as soon as they come in. And the big ones, a lot of those are going to be aggros and attack the players. So what you do is you want to kill those so that you're not taking damage and staying healthy before you attack the rest of them. Each big Nylo will then split into 2 little ones. And then those will like start going to the pillars as well. I would say prioritize the big ones if you're learning, if you see any of those. And the second thing you should prioritize while you're hitting your color is watch for pillar health. Start hitting the Nylos on the pillar that has the lowest HP, because that's the one that you want to save those pillars, remember? So you want to protect them. You don't want any of them to fall down. So that's how I would answer that one. Is that what you would say?
Yeah, I would say that. I'd say that too. Big and little.
Cool. Yeah.
Me too.
Same.
All right. Great. Glad we're all on the same page. That would be awkward.
I think that's pretty. We can kind of zoom through this. Like the boss is also relatively straightforward. You just attack with the combat triangle.
Yep. So then after you finish the waves, then the what do you say is the king one? Vasilius?
Principus?
Yeah, the king is Vasilius. Yeah.
Vasilius. So that one will spawn. It's basically one big Nylo. And it's going to come down in the middle of the room. You don't have to worry about any of the waves or pillars at this point. And what it's going to do, basically, it's going to always start with melee. So it's going to start white, and then it's going to switch colors to either blue or green. And it's going to continue to do that every 10 ticks, I think. Basically until you're dead or the Nylo is dead. And it will attack either with melee, mage, or range, depending on what color it is as well. So if it switches to blue, you're going to attack it with mage, and it's going to attack you with mage. If it switches to green, you're going to attack it with range, and it's going to attack you with range. White is melee on both sides as well. So this is important when you're learning like your gear switches to first off get your prayer correct when it switches. You want to protect yourself first, and then you want to switch your gear to attack it. So that's what you should prioritize if you're learning. Learn how to switch your prayer first before you deal damage. Also, if you hit it with the wrong style, so if you hit the Nylo with range while it's on the mage style, it's going to reflect damage back to you. Whatever, I think it's a percentage of whatever you hit. It's going to reflect it back to you. So you get punished heavily for hitting it with the wrong style.
It's like pretty straightforward. You start with a couple switches, and then like the more comfortable you get, you start to add more in.
Yep, you add more as it goes.
Yeah, and when you're really starting and overwhelmed,
do one.
Just don't overthink it. This one's weird because we say combat triangle, but combat triangle makes me think of doing the opposite, like the monkey room. But for this, you're actually matching the green guy. You range down, just like the whole room leading up to it. But I mean, when I'm starting out, I mean, I will swap my protection prayer. I'll do one-way swap, and I'll click on the boss and maybe get 2 attacks in, and then protection prayer, one-way swap. So just start with the fundamentals. But yeah, the protection prayer comes first. It's a big saying in WoW is you can't do DPS if you're dead. So
correct.
Don't.
Yeah.
It's also embarrassing. And you lose your points. But yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
So the only differences between normal mode and hard mode is in the hard mode, while you're doing the waves, then 3 Principus Nylos will spawn, and they're basically demi bosses. They work exactly the same as the big boss, but they spawn in the waves. They have less health, but they also switch styles that they attack you with, and that you have to attack them. So 3 of those will spawn at some random point. The other thing is that if you attack a Nylo with the wrong style, so if I am the mage and I shoot one of Hoyt's green ones with my staff, then I get damage reflected back to me of whatever I hit, and I get locked out. I can't do any more damage to that Nylo, no matter what. So even if I hit it with the wrong style and then I switch to the correct style, I'll still do no damage to it because it's locked me out of hitting that Nylo.
Is it permanent till they die?
It's until they die. Yep, it's permanent. So that's why you'll see.
I only ever hit the right one. So
sorry.
I only ever hit the right one, so
that's right. Know. Yeah, you wouldn't know.
Just curious.
Yeah, I think that's also in normal mode as well. I think you get locked out in normals as well.
Yeah, that or there's like a delay. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're freezing pillars kind of later, you can freeze them, and that will like stall the Nylos from attacking. They won't die, but they'll just stand there. They'll be stalled. And that will help to save some of the pillar's life, but it'll lock you out from attacking. And then the last thing for hard mode is that the boss, when it's on range phase, you have to separate as well. You have to move away from each other. And when it's on mage phase, you have to group up. You have to DD with each other. Otherwise, you take extra damage based on how close or far you are from your teammates. I think that's pretty much all I had for Nylo Room. If you're going, I was going to GM tip, just learn how to use all of your ticks. Don't be wasting attacks when you're in there, and help other people out with their stuff too. If you have cleared everything in the room, just make sure that you're helping out other roles, cleaning up other stuff too. Do you guys have anything to add to Nylos?
Nope.
No, I don't think so.
All right, so the next room we've got up is Sotetseg, and quick lore for this one is this was another commissioned experiment by Verzik, this time on Dark Beasts. So they were doing an experiment on this Dark Beast, and this one was being able to start to communicate and transport between this realm and the Shadow Realm. They did 3 experiments, and over the 3 experiments, they continued to go deeper and eventually could take someone with it. And each time that it came back, it brought back cryptic messages. So the person who's running the experiment started hearing voices whenever it was near Sotetseg and wanted to figure out the source. And so he went with Sotetseg on one of his trips to the Shadow Realm, and just heard a voice chanting Sotetseg, Sotetseg over and over, which means darkness in Hungarian. So they...
Oh, another Hungarian thing.
Yeah. A lot
Makes
of this
sense.
is Hungarian. So
that's where the vampires the folklore kind of came from.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Very thematic. Yeah. All right, quick overview for Sotetseg. Basically for this fight, you're going to want to melee it, and you're going to stand close to the boss. It has 3 phases, and on each phase, you're going to use your Elder Maul spec again, and you're going to lower... You try to land 2 Elder Maul specs per phase just to lower its defense. It is capped, so you don't need to use your BGS on this because you can only lower it half of the defense before it's just capped by the game. Sotetseg will attack with melee, range, and mage, but it has only a chance to do one of the 3. If you're standing close to it, it has a chance to melee you. If you're standing away from it, it will never melee you. This boss does not move. If it mages or ranges you, it's going to shoot out an orb that will either be colored red or gray, and that will be what you have to pray against, either mage for the red ones or range for the gray ones. The catch with this one is that when an orb hits you, it will then split into 2 different color orbs, 1 mage and 1 range, and it will bounce toward your other teammates in the room. And so each one of those that attacks, if your teammates are also around the boss fighting Sotetseg, then it will split, and so you have to watch out for the attacks coming from Sotetseg to you, and also from your teammates coming adjacent to you. When Sotetseg, kind of same thing as Maiden. When Sotetseg gets below 66% health and 33% health, then it will do a teleport attack, where one person will get chosen to go into the Shadow Realm, and the rest of the players will be on the outside, and it'll teleport you back to the start of the room. In between you and Sotetseg, there's going to be this tile maze that the person in the Shadow Realm will have to run on the tiles in order for the rest of the team to see the path to cross safely, otherwise taking massive amounts of damage while they're running through the maze. So the person on the shadow side, their job is basically to stay on the red path that will then light up tiles for the rest of the team to run on and take the correct path through the maze. You have to do it quickly, though, because once you pass the third row of the maze, then a tornado will spawn. It's a red tornado, and it'll spawn behind the team, basically, and if it catches up to you, then it almost one-shots your team. It does a huge amount of damage, and it can pretty much one-shot you. Then you go back on the boss, and you just attack it like normal over those 3 phases. The last thing is that when Sotetseg does 10 auto attacks, so either 10 mage attacks, not including melees, then it will spawn like a nuke death ball, basically. And he'll shoot a death ball at one person, and it moves really slow, so you have time to react to it. That one person will take 99 damage unless your group stands together, then you can split it between your team. So you can either take 99 damage all on your own, or you can group up and just split it like 30 apiece. So basically whenever it does the nuke attack, then everyone's going to group up in front of it, stand together, and split that ball damage. Other than that, I think that's most of Sotetseg's mechanics for normal raid.
What about the tick eating for the ball? I know it's a little advanced, but
yeah. So the ball, you can tick eat it. So right when it does the damage, you're gonna eat food, and basically then you will tank the ball, but you'll be able to heal it. I don't really want to explain tick eating right now, but if you know what tick eating is, then yeah, you can tick eat the ball to not have to share it with your team. I am
curious though, what do you click a tick before the hit splat to eat because it takes a tick to register, or
yes?
What's your visual cue?
Okay, yeah. So you click a tick
because it'll follow the next one.
Yes, so that you're actually eating it on the exact same tick that the ball is hitting you. The visual indicator is basically right when the ball goes in your head, or when what I do it is when Sotetseg puts his head down for his next attack, is the tick that you click to eat.
Yeah, basically so the healing will override any damage that you would take. Well, it won't override it, but it'll take priority.
Yeah. So if you had 98 health and you tick eat it, it's going to hit you at 98 and it's going to put you on 1 HP, basically.
Well, it depends what you tick eat with. If you tick eat with a shark, it'll put you on 20 HP. If you tick eat with a Karam one, it'll put you on 18. It'll set you to 0, then it'll heal you up, whatever. That's like kind of how it works.
Oh. Okay.
You can do it with lots of things in the game. There's like a bunch of things you can tick eat. It's a cool mechanic, actually.
Sack of potatoes?
Yeah, you could do it with anything. I bring a regular cake in because it has 3 chomps. So if we're ever in trouble, I can use the cake to tick eat at Sotetseg. Because Sotetseg's an easy boss until you start losing some people, and then it's extremely hard.
Yeah, then you got to lock in.
Yeah.
It's
I've seen someone finish it by themselves many times, and they lock in, to say the least.
Yeah, pretty much.
Everybody's watching you, and if you're a tick late, you're dead.
You're dead. Yep. Okay, so the difference between normal mode and hard mode is, this is one of my favorite hard mode changes, is that for the maze, instead of one person running the maze, it's flipped, so one person is on the outside, and the other 3 or 4 people, or however many are in your party, those people have the maze broken up into pieces between them. And so if say we're doing it in a 4-man, like we've been doing, one person will be on the outside, not able to see anything. And then on the inside, there's 3 people, and each of them will be able to see 1/3 of the maze. So you have to run the maze kind of together, but you have to like pass it off. The first person will see the first third, and then the second third, and then the last. So you have to kind of pass it off between each other. Makes it really fun. Feels like everyone's kind of engaged. But yeah, if you step off the maze, you can take large amounts of damage. The other thing in hard mode is that Sotetseg shoots 2 death balls, and so the way that you split those is normally everyone groups up in the middle, and you do the same thing. Everyone groups up in the middle, but the 2 people who have the death balls, they have to stand 1 tile on each side. So you stand kind of 3 in a line, and then that's how you split those balls and take the least amount of damage between everybody.
So for the maze, when you, let's say, back to normal mode for a noob, when it says Sotetseg chooses you, I've noticed there's like this call out that teams will do, and they'll say like 5 right or 4 left, so that everyone knows where to go start. So I'm gonna just assume like the 5 right means 5 tiles in from the right side.
From the right. Yeah. Correct.
Got it.
Yep.
So yeah, if you hear that, that's kind of what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And where you can go. But usually you also have like tiles you can ping with the Party Hub plugin.
Yep.
Helps a lot. So
yeah.
Very good.
So yeah, there is a maze trainer that you can do online too. It's just a website. If you just type in Sotetseg maze trainer or whatever, then you can actually click it in like real timing to learn your diagonals and your L movements, and it'll tell you the optimal path and how many ticks it should take to get across the maze. And then you can practice that to see how you would actually run a maze in real time to try to lead your team across. So yeah, it's really fun. I was actually doing it just yesterday when I was prepping for this.
I'm gonna start out with a little L movement. Yeah.
Start with a little L movement.
It's still one of the greatest Twitch clips of all time. This so guy says we're gonna start out with a little L movement. Completely messes it up. Wipes his entire team. Oh, it's so good. It never gets old.
Yep.
It's like me trying to red X Bob on instantly done.
I've wiped a team a few times with a little bit of L movement. So it's everyone does it. It's all good.
Yeah. This is also where the pros will get really mad at you if you mess up the maze and kill them. Then you'll get taken some flack for it. So
true.
Stay on the red line. Make sure you're moving, but you have more time than you think. So don't.
I'd imagine you can also impress some people. Like if you're asking to go on a raid and you're a learner, but you've done a bunch of this, they're probably going to be like, "Wow, this guy's legit. I'm going to keep taking him."
The thing is, though, the perfect maze. The tornado moves so slowly. As long as you just go to the extent and you don't slow down for way too long, you'll be fine.
Yep.
The only time you'll ever die on the maze really is if someone misclicks horribly and like rags a bunch of tiles, or if the maze starts 3 tiles in a row and the 4th and 5th tile are also a straight line. If the person steps off the 3rd tile and the tornado starts following you, it'll catch you instantly because it doesn't have to go along a little winding path to start. So if someone stalls in a straight line off the bat, it is a good chance it can catch a team and just completely annihilate you. So you just have to be careful in that very specific instance.
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you're learning and you get chosen to run the maze, you can, the way that you do it is you step on the first tile so that everybody knows where to go on the first tile. And then you can go to the 3rd row, and then you can wait on the 3rd row until everybody's ready before the tornado spawns, and then you take off from there. So you get a little bit of a head start by waiting on the 3rd row, and then as soon as you cross that 3rd row, that's when the tornado spawns, and you have to actually run the maze. You have to book it a little bit. So, but you get plenty of time when you're waiting. You can wait on the 3rd tile for as long as you need. Yeah, that's kind of, I don't really have any pro tips for Grandmasters on this one. Just make sure that you're using, scything hard, run the maze as fast as you can. Don't lose any ticks on the maze, and make sure that you're elder mauling when it's your turn. as soon as you come out of the maze or on the first possible hit that you can. That's the important thing for Sotetseg.
And for newer players, the Fang is really good here. If you're in a whip setup, like a basic whip ToB setup, you can bring the Fang, and it'll just really help you. Great. It'll help you get through Sotetseg. Iron Man as well. If you have access to a Fang and a whip, you'll want to use the Fang. Bring it just for this room. It's worth it.
Yeah, totally. Anything else from you guys for Sotetseg?
Don't think so.
No, sir.
All right. Xarpus. Xarpus is my favorite of the pet transmogs. I think he's one of the coolest looking bosses. But he is the king of the Urasa, which is the species that he is. And they used to be very plentiful in Vampirium, but they were hunted for sport until the numbers were near extinction. Vampires wiped out pretty much the whole race before they crossed into Gielinor, except one remained in Vampirian, Xarpus, the king of the Urasa. Lord Draken heard that he was still alive, and he set off on a quest for Xarpus, and somehow traveled back to Vampirium. Nobody really knows how he did that. The lore doesn't say how he went back to Vampirium with an army to find it. He eventually captured the apex predator and now displays him in the Theater of Blood. So that's the background on Xarpus.
Wow.
All right, so mechanics for Xarpus. When you enter the room, Xarpus is going to spawn these, what do you call them? Vents? Something on the ground? What do you call them, Heartless? Blobs? Acid?
No, they're called. They're called.
What are they called?
Exhumes. That's what they're called. I was thinking about it. I was looking this up the other day, but yeah, they're called exhumes.
I couldn't remember the word for them. Yeah. So he's going to spawn it on these things on the ground before he kind of wakes up. So there's no combat. But every tick that these exhumes are not covered by a player, then they're going to heal Xarpus while he's kind of like gaining his strength. Then, so that exhume phase goes on for a while. Everybody normally takes a corner and covers their exhumes, and then Xarpus is going to wake up. Xarpus doesn't actually directly attack the players, but he will turn and look at people, and look at each player, and he'll spit acid on a certain tick. And so eventually he spits acid at you. It will bounce between you and your team, and eventually it will cover the room and overwhelm you if not dealt with properly. Xarpus also, then when he gets below somewhere around like 30%, he will do a screech, and that means that the acid phase is over, and he'll start glaring in one quadrant of the room at a time. And when he's doing his stare attack, basically you run around him and you hit him from anywhere that he is not looking. You don't want to attack him from the quadrant that he is looking at, otherwise he will reflect the damage to you. If you have a scythe, you will basically just scythe your head off and get murdered immediately. So he reflects it all back to you. It's a pretty basic room with a lot of nuance and timing behind it. But that's kind of that's pretty much that's most of the mechanics. The only difference between normal mode and hard mode is that the room is a little bit smaller in hard mode, and during his stare attack, he will turn and look at you immediately after you swing, or after you hit him. And so hard mode is the only room in the theater that gets easier between normal mode and hard mode, because if everybody stands on one quadrant, or on their individual quadrants of the room and attacks him at different times, then he's just going to spin around looking at everybody, and you can make sure you're sitting up straight, drink some water, relax during that phase. So
I did find something funny. So in the second phase, when you step under Xarpus and take damage, the projectile name in the code is called ToB Xarpus Guano, right? And guano is the dried shit of birds and bats. Although technically it's not guano, stepping under Xarpus will result in the player being defecated on. And the code says, when you write code, you can leave a comment. The comment says, the player the player's under Zarpus and is due to be shat on, and Zarpus isn't delayed, only on phase 2. So they actually wrote that in the code. So
that's hilarious.
That's what's happens when you step under Zarpus.
That's hilarious.
That's
kind of wild.
That's quite funny. One thing, oh, sorry, you done, Poplo?
No, go for it.
I was just gonna say a common, like, have you talked about meleeing it yet or no?
Not yet.
I guess you're about to get to that, so I'll wait until you do that.
Yep. That's okay. I was gonna ask Hoyt, how have you been taking on Zarpus? Have you been ranging him or meleeing him in your?
No, yeah, I range. I start in a corner and I move when I see the ball coming at me.
Yep.
2 tiles, make my way around the room. And then I, of course, melee the final phase.
The last phase.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, so kind of as you're learning, the way that you want to learn this is, it's like the same thing with Maiden. You're going to use Elder Maul specs and BGS specs to try to get it to 0 defense, and then that makes your blowpipe really strong, and so when you're learning, then you're going to be blowpiping Zarpus. The way that is the indicator of when to move to not get hit by the acid is when he turns to look at you. Then you just move 2 tiles in either direction so that the acid doesn't hit you and you don't get splatted by anyone else's acid. Then, you want to melee the second phase, or the final phase after the Screech, and just remember not to hit it when he's looking at you. Heartless, do you want to say something about meleeing Zarpus?
Yeah, it's only worth it if you have a scythe. Because blowpipe, if you 0 defense Zarpus, which you typically do by hitting a couple Warhammers and hitting close to 100 BGS spec, so if you can coordinate that with your team, then at 0 defense, Dragon or even Amethyst darts is second best after Scythe on the boss. So it's not even really worth whipping. It's not worth Void, even Soul. It's better than Soul Reaper Axe with full Torva. Yeah, so this is part of the reason why Void is so strong, is because it's extra good here. Anything where it's 0 defense, the blowpipe is just going to tear. So obviously Scythe is better. And meleeing is more fun though. It's worth learning, because when you do get a Scythe or whatever, you're going to want to know how to do it. And hard mode ranging is not really viable. So you are going to want to learn how to melee. But it's just interesting to know that you're definitely not trolling if you're not comfortable meleeing and you just want to range. It's with a blowpipe, it's fine as long as you're 0 defensing. If you're not, then blowpipe is quite bad. If you're just if you're missing too many specs. Yeah,
you're gonna want to blowpipe definitely when you're learning. This is also the only room in ToB that I would recommend turning on game and area sounds when you're learning how to melee, because when you're meleeing it, it'll do a chirp, and then that is your that's your audible notification to step out and then go back into melee. And so you have to kind of learn the cycle. It's really difficult to kind of explain without showing somebody. But if you're going on learner raids, just watch how other people are doing it. And the best way to learn how to melee is hop in voice, try to learn the timing, when to go out and back in. Try to follow somebody who's doing it. Start in your own quadrant and always start with melee just until you get ragged, until there's too much acid on the ground. You can always run to the back of the room and start ranging after that. But if you want to try to melee, you're not probably going to get it the first time that you ever try it. But over the course of doing a couple raids, if you start by meleeing, eventually you're going to find yourself lasting longer and longer, being able to stay meleeing longer, and then eventually maybe melee like the whole phase. So that's how I would recommend to learn how to melee Zarpus. The last thing that I had as kind of a pro tip in this room is for the Screech in normal mode. After that, if you have a Scythe, there's a 2-2-1-2-1 cycle.
Oh my! You see, I don't even know this. I just do 2-1 because I can't be asked to learn.
Well, you haven't had the Scythe, so
I'm still I'm good for now.
If you aren't confident, just do 1 or 2 hits per spin. But otherwise, there's actually a 2-2-1-2-1 cycle that if you know where you're at or you can get in there, then you can just move around the room and you can just keep hitting not missing any ticks, knowing how many times you get to hit. So that's hitting 2 times, and then 2 times, and then 1, and then 2, 1. So that's also something that you can practice in entry mode or something if you want to, but it's also kind of just a timing feeling thing.
And you're gonna die a lot.
This one's just don't scythe your head off and you'll be fine.
So because I own a Soul Reaper axe, it's very niche. It's pretty much just used for Iron Man or like maybe a main if you're not quite rich enough to own a scythe yet. It's a very niche upgrade that's like barely worth getting, except for if you're gonna grind Vardorvis. But you can, if you spec, which heals you, while Zarpus is looking at you during the final phase, it'll like tick eat it for you, so you'll never die, which is pretty useful to know.
Yeah. Yep.
So if anyone out there does own a Soul Reaper axe and is doing some Zarpus.
So you can just get 1 hit in the special? Does it drain the whole thing?
Yeah, so because like Poplo was saying, you with a 5-tick weapon, you have to do 2, then 1, then 2, then 1, or more advanced versions. So if you're not sure if you're on the 2 or the 1 cycle, which sometimes happens to me when I'm zoned out, then I'll just spec if I'm not sure, and then if he looks at me, I won't die, and I'll be good. I can just switch to a different weapon. So
yep.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's very good to know. Good to know.
All right,
it's pretty much Zarpus. Hard mode is even easier than regular mode, which is amazing.
It is.
You
just can't range it in hard mode.
You just have less room. It deletes the outside.
It's my favorite room as a learner because, I mean, I'm gonna jinx it, but I feel like I never die here. I'm very careful at the final phase. I'm sure I've died maybe once of getting greedy, but it's. I'm not gonna say it's easy or anything, but it's like straightforward, I think.
Yeah.
Whereas Sotetseg and stuff, like I can get overwhelmed a bit quickly, but Zarpus is like pretty straightforward.
Yeah. So, this is one where if you're just not sure, then it's better just to not attack. You're not pushing the limits on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and blowpipe is super chill. You just move around the room, and you have a lot of space, especially if you're friends or teammates are meleeing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's Zarpus, unless you guys have anything else to add for that room.
Don't think so.
Nope.
All right, and that is the whole theater. Unless
we have another 3 hours on Verzik.
Unless you want to get a chest.
This is going to be one hefty episode.
It is. I think I'll be able to go through Verzik pretty quickly. Since we're not in there like explaining everything. But quick lore behind Verzik, how she got to this point is Verzik made her most prized breed of Nylocas, and while she was showing it off, it actually bit her and died in her hand. She got terribly sick and called in a doctor, who started finding eggs inside of her and operated to remove them.
Horrific. That's
terrible. Terrible. So he was the surgeon continued to operate to remove them. However, they continued to grow and grow until she became obese. And eventually, even worse, she burst open. And the spider that was inside of her emerged as a vampire and Nyloca hybrid. And so it was able to take on her form while being able to shift between vampire and spider as well. So that's why she's so fat. For all of you people who are making fun of her, it's because she literally had eggs growing inside of her. So be nice.
She was eating apple pie with Bloat.
Yeah, come on.
Her, Bloat, and Thurgo. Thurgo might be the next raid boss.
Thurgo. Just demonic after his pies. Hilarious.
Mutated Thurgo. That'd be sick.
That would be disgusting.
All right, so Verzik has 3 phases. We're gonna go through them, but if you really want to learn more in depth, just go watch a YouTube video. S2L's got some crazy Verzik videos out there, some guides. But we'll kind of go through them. Phase 1 is when she's sitting on the throne, and this is where you're going to use the Dawnbringer that you found on the ground in the Zarpus room when you completed it. You can't troll your team by logging out with the Dawnbringer anymore, by the way.
You used to be able to teleport out with it.
Used to be able to teleport out with it, and then you just mess your whole team up. The Dawnbringer has a spec.
Don't worry, there's still tech. I'll get into it in a bit.
Oh, no. Oh, God.
Box.
All right, so Dawnbringer has a spec that does takes 35% energy, and it does like a really powerful attack on Verzik. It can hit up to 150, whereas your normal damage is capped to like a 10, I think, is the max that you can hit on Verzik when she's on her throne phase. And so the way that it goes is you'll start with one person holding the Dawnbringer, and everyone will be standing by the throne, and you'll all hit Verzik, and you'll be dropping the staff to each other to use your special attacks, cycling it between you and your teammates. So the first person who starts it will use both of their specs and then drop it to the next person, who will then use their specs, and so on and so forth. While you're attacking Verzik, then she is going to shoot these mage attacks at you that are absolutely devastating. If you're not praying Protect from Magic, they can literally one-shot you. And if you are, they can still hit up to like 68, I think is the max. And so the way that you avoid these attacks is you hide behind the pillars that are in the room. And if you're behind a pillar, then Verzik's attack will hit the pillar instead of you, and you won't take any damage. So while you're learning this one, you're going to have to know what order you are for attacking with the staff, and then you're going to run between the pillar and Verzik. You can hit Verzik 2 times or 3 times. I think just 2 times with a whip if you're not doing anything else. But to play it safe, just hit Verzik 2 times and then run back to the pillar and hide until she shoots her mage attack. And then 2 hits and then go back to the pillar. Eventually the pillar will break and go down when its health gets to 0, and then you just have to go to the other side to the next pillar that has some health. This one is pretty straightforward. It can get overwhelming really fast, especially if you have to switch your gear or switch your weapon and spec and all that stuff and run between pillars and hide from Verzik and all that all at once. Then it can really get overwhelming all at once. So the best way to do this is to know. Normally people go in terms of orb order, so whatever the order is of the party is who will be doing the special attacks. So know when you're up to attack in orb order, and just make sure that you are doing your specs and then dropping the staff back to your team. That's your number one goal as a learner. If you can do that, if you can do your 2 specs and drop it back to your team without dying, then you have succeeded. You have that is good enough for that room. If you don't take an 80 burger to the face and die, then
yeah,
I would never.
And the staff can high roll and low roll. So like minimum is about 75, max is about 150. You don't need to pray offensively. You don't need to wear gear that's are completely irrelevant to the hit.
Yep, just a one-way switch. So in normal money raids, what they're going to do is you're going to drop the staff behind the pillar. So in the safe spots, you're going to be dropping the staff to each other. But once you get to a few more advanced tactics, it's better to drop the staff at the throne, because you can do a staff hit on your way in to Verzik before you do your 2 whip hits or your 2 scythe hits. You can do like 1 mage attack, and you can use your staff spec while you're doing that, while you're running in to not miss any ticks. I'm not going to go through these, but there are a couple more advanced methods. One that I would recommend learning is 112, and this is for trios. It's just a more advanced staff dropping method that people actually consistently use as you get to higher level PVM. And basically what that means is the first person specs once, the second person specs once, and the third person specs twice. And so it gets your specs recharging faster, and it also makes it so that you don't lose any hits during that. There's a bunch of other stuff there's a bunch of other methods you can do. I won't get into all of them, but that's kind of the overview for normal mode. In hard mode, the difference is that when you're attacking Verzik, then rubble will be falling from the ceiling after she attacks, and so you just have to switch pillars back and forth every time that she attacks. Rather than going between just to one pillar until it falls, you have to go back and forth between the 2 sides each attack. It's pretty easy, and I do it a lot in normal modes just because that's my muscle memory. But that's kind of the only difference between normal and hard mode. yeah, what did I miss? What did I miss, guys?
Oh, really? That's pretty much it.
P1?
Yeah, P1's pretty straightforward. Just try not to get hit by Verzik. That's the key.
What are you buying in that chest before you go in?
There's no chest. It's before Zarpus.
Right.
You fill up on brews. Well, you need 3.
Fill up on brews and restores. You want
minimum 3 restores, a stamina, and then the rest brews. Maybe a hard food so you can combo eat. That's typically the setup.
Yep.
That's a good shout out though, because in Zarpus, the number 1 rule is when you're learning, especially, do not use your supplies there. Save them for Verzik. So I've always been told, like, do not click a single food. It's better to die as Zarpus than to use all your supplies.
When you're learning, definitely. But when you're a little higher level, you can you drink a prayer potion or whatever. You really only need 2 to get through Verzik if everyone knows what they're doing. But if everyone's like lower KC, you're gonna need all your food to recover the mistakes in Verzik.
Yeah. Yep.
And did you talk about dropping a few things for learners? Like when you start, does everyone drop something? Just learners,
everyone drops something. Yeah. So you'll drop learners. When you get into Verzik, just hang on to a couple brews and restores and drop all the rest, just in case you plank early. Then your team can pick them up for you, and like use them as supplies to kind of carry you far later in the Verzik fight. But if you have all of your stuff with you and you die, then they're not going to have access to it. It also, you have to do it because you're going to be picking up the staff, and it's like an extra inventory space, and so you want to drop a couple things just so you have inventory space to hold all the items that you're going to need.
Yeah, if you're going to die, the least you can do is give your team enough gas to like finish the raid. So that's what the supplies are for. It's not a personal thing. But,
yeah, totally.
And then
you can always pick them up too if you're still alive and you've gone through all your brews. Go pick them up. Yeah, by all means.
And the best part of Verzik is like there's the death ball, but there's no real one-shot mechanic. So usually as a learner, you're gonna die to making lots of little mistakes that just stack up too much damage, and you run out of food. That's typically how you're gonna die. Is just like making back-to-back mistake because you're missing up timing. So you're gonna chug through all your food quickly, and then you just get attritioned out essentially. Which is one of the reasons why I think it's such a lovable boss. You know, if you're really skilled, and when the better you get, the like less food you'll use. You'll still get chipped down a little bit, but generally it's very fun.
Yeah. And on phase 1, always pray mage. It doesn't matter how many raids you've done. Even after doing 2,000 plus, I still pray mage on P1 just in case you mess up. You don't want to just get one shot taken out of the fight.
I've seen a man with multiple thousands of raids across his account get one shot several times by it, so he'll remain unnamed.
It can definitely happen.
It definitely happens. It's happened to me too. I had one too many drinks, boom, forget to put your mage on, 99 to the face.
Dead. Yep. Last thing that I have for P1 is, this is for the Grandmasters. If you're going for your 4s or 5 times, then you can God Book. And that's kind of often what people will do. I'm not going to go into it too much, but basically you bring one of the prayer God Books, and it has a special attack, kind of, called Preach. And when you preach, it drains your energy, or your spec energy, I think by 25%. And so then you can recharge up to basically 95%. And then you can start the boss right when you're about to recharge all the way up, and you get an extra 5% special attack. So you basically start the room with 105 spec.
That's so heavy.
And if you do the math on...
It's a PKing thing, too. They do that in PK.
Do they really? Like, just to make sure that they get, like, an extra, like, Claw or Void Waker or something sooner?
Because that can be the difference in a fight. It's also for, like, rushers. Because they do that, they've unlocked the ability to do one more spec or one different spec.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you do the math on the Dawnbringer, 35% spec times 3 is 105. So then you have you can do 3 specs in a row, and then you just drop it to your team, who will to your next teammate, who will then do 3 specs in a row. Drop it to the next, who will do 3 specs, and basically you stand there face tank at the pillar. You don't run and hide. You just stand there and you just do as much damage as possible. Try to get her down as fast as possible. But that's only for Grandmaster times. People aren't doing that in normal runs.
Nice.
And there are a lot of videos out there to help too. There's a Godbook plugin to help you know which tick to preach on and stuff like that. So,
Very cool.
Yeah, that is Verzik P1. Unless you guys have anything else.
No.
Nope.
All right. Phase 2. This is where if you survive phase 1 on your first raid, you're probably gonna die here on P2. That's okay. Some people still make it through. Basically, Verzik will come down off of her throne and go to the middle of the room where she will then like bounce up and down and on a certain 4-tick cycle. And every time that she bounces, she will throw either a range attack, like cabbage, that will hit the ground wherever you're standing, or it'll be like a zap. And the zap ball will bounce between you and your teammates, and you need to pass it through Verzik. Otherwise, if it bounces too much, you'll take high amounts of damage. Also, during this, Verzik will, at some points, spawn Nylocas, similar to what you've seen throughout the other raids, except with the new one, the purple one, that Hoyt mentioned, I think is the Thanatos or something. And that purple Nylo will heal Verzik unless it's poisoned. So you need either use your blowpipe or a Serp Helm or a Abyssal Tentacle or something like that to poison the purple crab to kill it and not let it heal Verzik anymore. At the same time, other crabs will spawn around the room and they will lock onto a player and they will walk at them menacingly. And if they get close to you, then they will blow up and they will do damage based on how close you were to them, maxing at like 56 or something like that if you're right on top of them. These crabs can be popped if you go within proximity of them and then run away from them. You can pop them to take minimal amounts of damage, as low as 0, but sometimes like 7 or 14 damage, so not too bad if you can pop the crabs. And the way that you kill Verzik is you pretty much have to melee or like max mage shadow Verzik, as some people do, but you're not going to do that as a learner. You have to melee Verzik, and you have to stay in the 4-tick cycle. Otherwise, if you are too close to her when she bounces, she will bounce you back and then hit you with one of those ranged cabbage attacks that'll land right on your head. So this is really important. This timing here is the exact same as the Zarpus meleeing, and so Zarpus is a really good way to practice getting the timing down for Verzik because the timing is the same. It's really easy if you have a whip, then you're always going to be in the same 4-tick cycle. It's a little bit different with the scythe because you have to miss hit due to being on a 5-tick cycle when she's bouncing every 4 ticks. Then when she gets down to 35%, she's not going to spawn any more of the heat-seeking crabs, but she's going to spawn 2 red crabs on either side, same ones that spawn in Maiden, and you have to kill those crabs. Otherwise, at the end of a certain amount of time, they will also heal Verzik, so you have to kill them or get them low HP, and then she will switch to attacking you with mage attacks rather than range. So once you do enough damage to the crabs, then you go back to hitting Verzik while she's still bouncing, staying in the cycle, and praying mage until eventually she dies. Also, the last thing is when she spawns those red crabs, she becomes immune for a little bit, and she heals for whatever you hit her for. That's a lot for P2, like drinking from a fire hose. What do you guys got? What do you guys got for me? I think that's most of the mechanics in a nutshell.
Yeah, there's the trainer is helpful to like learn. The timing is
Yes.
unintuitive because you stay in the danger area for 3 ticks and then step back. Or if you're just doing a walk, it's tough to figure out if you're going in and stepping out or you're staying in the whole time. There's like a couple of different methods you can do, but it's a bit unintuitive. So you're gonna die and get bounced a bunch before you get the hang of it. But you will, and you can kind of look at what other people are doing, like the Zarpus, and you just try your best to get through it.
Yeah, it's kind of backwards because you're staying in, and you're just moving out for 1 tick and back in, rather than flinching, staying out, and then moving in and out to hit. It's a little bit backwards, but there is a Verzik simulator that you can practice that as well. Kind of same way that you can practice Sotetseg maze.
Yeah, my only tip is for learners, before you start the Verzik fight, just ask for 20 seconds from your team and have a GIF ready and just watch the pattern. Because trying to like watch your friends while being in there during the fight, it's good to have it like even on your second monitor, just so you can feel the rhythm or the timing, because you can recover a little, but most of the time you screwed up and you're done.
Mm-hmm.
And you're sitting in the cage. So I like to just say, hey guys, just give me 1 second, let me pull this GIF up, and then I stare at it and I try to lock it in my brain. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, for that timing, yeah.
Why is it that... So I've always done the method where you, I know it's like the noob method, but you stand outside, you click in between two tiles. Why is staying in the danger zone for 3 ticks better, or why is that the preferred way, if that makes sense?
Staying in the danger zone for 3 ticks and then moving out is to prepare you for if you have a 5 tick or a scythe, then you are hitting on any of those 3 ticks, whereas with the whip, you're just hitting on the same 1 tick every time in the cycle. But if you have a scythe, it changes. It moves down 1 tick every time you're in there. And so by staying in there and only moving out when you need to, then you're using all of your ticks, basically. You're burning 1 because it's 5 tick. But it's just good practice for when you have a scythe or a 5 tick weapon to be staying in there so you're not missing attacks.
Got it. Okay. Because Verzik's attack, is it on a 4 tick? Or is it just an even number, like 6 tick or something?
It is a 4 tick.
Is it 4 tick? Okay, that checks out. That makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah. Let's see, my Grandmaster tips for this. If you want to get really sweaty, there's some, you could do some Boak tiles, which is basically learning how to pop crabs by just running between tiles. I'm not going to tell you which tiles or whatever, but they're different on east-west. Depending on where you're standing, you can find a guide for it online. Just helps you pop crabs while losing the least amount of ticks and not having to run around the room like a chicken with your head cut off. And then also, if you're going for your 4s or 5 times, then when you get to reds, my first tip is to not kill the reds all the way. If you get them below 20%, then just leave them. It's more worth it to attack Verzik than to hit the reds and kill them. And also, you can dump your claws here to try to go for a skip. Kind of in the same way that you do at Maiden, where you try to skip the last 30%. Then if Verzik is below sometimes 15 or 20%, then you can just get a skip. You don't even have to hit the crabs. You can just do all your damage on Verzik and try to kill her before those crabs time out and heal her. So, yeah, that's what I got for P2. And
all right,
let's move on to the last part, phase 3. So after you've killed Verzik, you think the fight's over. She turns into a spider and gets really big, and she'll follow you around the room. She'll pick one person who's a tank, and she'll follow that person around the room, and she'll melee you, or has a chance to melee you if you're within melee distance. Otherwise, she'll attack with mage or range, and you're going to scythe her throughout this whole phase. She will do 4 auto attacks, and then she will do a special attack. And there are 4 special attacks. So the cycle is super easy to remember. It's 4 autos and then a special. And she'll start off with 4 auto attacks, either melee, mage, or range. And then the first special, these specials always go in order. The first one is going to be spawning the same heat-seeking Nylos that spawned in P2. She's going to spawn those at some random place around the room, and you have to run around and pop them or freeze them, and then she'll go back to doing 4 special attacks, or 4 auto attacks. Then the second special that she does is webs. And so what this is she will move to the middle of the room, she'll become untargetable, and she will start just spewing webs all around the room. This is the best special attack because you just get absolutely free damage. This is called web running, where you start on the south side of her and you hit her when she starts her web attack, and then you just run around her, basically hitting on each. You start on the south, you hit on the west, and then north, and then east, and then back south. So you just run around her in a clockwise rotation, and you hit her every 5 ticks, so on certain tiles. You probably won't be doing this running on your first couple KCs, but you'll definitely watch some people who are. If you're not running, then you can just kind of run or walk along the outside of the room. Just avoid the webs that she shoots at you, as if you get stuck in them, then your teammates could kill them. They do have like a 10 HP health bar, but if they're not killed, then they will do a lot of damage to you, and you can't move while you are stuck in them. Then she'll do, after that phase, she'll do 4 more auto attacks, and then she'll do what's called yellows. Basically, she'll charge up a big attack, and there will be yellow spots on the ground. Each person has to pick one of those yellow spots and go stand on it, and you cannot double up. You can't have 2 people on the same spot. And then she'll release a big attack where she shoots a yellow ball at you. If you're standing on one of those yellow squares, you'll be protected. If you're doubled up or you're not on one of those squares, you'll take a pretty hefty chunk of damage. And then she's going to do 4 more auto attacks, and then she's going to spawn what Heartless called the Death Ball. And this is very similar to the Sotetseg Death Ball, except it's green, and it chooses one person, and she fires the green ball at you, and you can pass it between your teammates by being close to them when it hits you, and every time you pass it, it will reduce the amount of damage taken. This ball has a max of 74, I believe, so if you are full health, like highest HP, you can survive it even if you don't pass it. So oftentimes one person will just tank it, they'll heal up all the way and tank the green ball, and then after that, she does 4 more auto attacks, and she goes back to the start of the cycle, where she'll spawn her Nylos, and then webs, and then yellows, and green ball again. The last thing for this phase is when she gets below 20%, she'll spawn these purple tornadoes that will follow you around the room, very similar to Gauntlet or, I guess, Awakened Leviathan, where they will follow you around the room. If they catch up to you, they will drain half of your HP and at a minimum of 5, and they'll heal Verzik for 3 times that amount. So if you're full health, say you're 100, just to make it easy math, it'll hit you for a 50, and it'll heal Verzik for 150. And her attack speeds up during this phase, so everything's happening faster. Then once you get her to 0 health, then you have killed her, and you move on to the chest room. That is a lot to take in for Verzik. But that is what I have for the last phase mechanics.
It's easier than phase 2.
It is
notably. So that's which is good news for learners. If you make it here, you're a good chance you'll make it through the raid.
Yeah, definitely. The most important thing about this is kind of being prepared for what's next. Like I said, everything happens at a certain time. It's very regimented, and so just knowing what's about to happen next, you can really prepare yourself for what's coming. And it's really easy to prep for, either being high health or being in the right place on the room or getting ready to look for your yellow tiles. All that stuff you can really prepare yourself for.
And really the main tip for a learner is to just don't get hit by the purple tornado, because it, like Poplo said, it heals her a bunch. It makes it harder for your teammates. It increases her defense. It's not good. And so you can do more damage than good by staying alive and tanking a bunch of tornadoes than just by avoiding them. So even if you're going to miss hits, avoid them at all costs. That's like what I always tell learners if they get to P3. Avoid the tornado at all costs. Hit when you can. Try to stay alive. That's basically the basics.
Yeah, I'm just fighting for my life that phase.
Yeah, and that's fine, right? Because your teammates can carry you through while you're a learner, but if you keep healing and increasing its defense, then they're just going to it's going to be harder and harder for them to finish the raid for you.
Exactly. I would rather you not hit once and not heal ever than
sometimes I'd rather you die than heal 5 times, because it would be easier to kill. I mean, partially joking, but it's kind of true. So just avoid the purples. That's your number one job. And then, as anything, with time, you'll get better at you'll get better at dealing damage and not getting hit by the tornado.
Yeah, definitely. I guess only differences in normal mode versus hard mode. Not much difference, except for every special attack, she will re-pick a tank. So she could still pick the same person, but she's going to re-roll to switch tanks between each special attack. And then when yellows happen, for each person that is alive, there's going to be 3 yellows that you have to stand on instead of just 1. And they will spawn in like the corners of the room or the middle randomly. And so you have to coordinate with your team which one to stand on. The green ball, you have to pass it because it will do all of your damage if you don't, all of your health if you don't pass it. You can't be safe just by staying at 99 health. And the last when you actually kill her, basically there's just a fun mechanic where she just heals back up to 30 or 35%, and you just have to keep killing her. So basically prolonging the purple tornado phase even more. So yeah, that's kind of the only differences for that. So this is a pretty hectic fight, same way that like Ulm is kind of a big fight in Chambers. But this one's pretty easy to stay alive for. Just, use your brews and watch out. So
very good.
My last tip for if you're doing like Grandmasters, obviously knowing how to run webs, but then it's really easy to start pog tanking out of webs. If you're learning, you're not going to know what that means, but it's super easy to set up if you're in webs and you spawn purples. It's really cool. Basically what it is you're just running and you're stepping under Verzik every time that she would attack you, just so that you don't lose hits while the purple tornadoes are coming. You're running around her. Watch a video, go learn how to pog web run, I guess is what it's called. But basically, it's really easy to set up. You just do a claw on the last north hit, and then you run to the corner and step under, and you're right in the cycle. So it's very easy to set up. You just have to watch some videos and go practice it. So,
very good,
guys. I think we made it through the Theater of Blood.
We made it through the theater.
That was huge.
3 hours of 2 hours of theater and 1 hour of random stuff. But but hopefully
we made it.
Hopefully you enjoyed it.
I'll just explain the chest for anyone who hasn't done it because I got it pulled up. So once you get through everything that Poplo just explained, you go to the chest room. And in the chest room, without any deaths, there's a 1 in 9.1 or 11% chance of a unique. For hard mode, that's increased to a 13% chance, so 1 in 7.7. For normal mode, if you get the... Is this for any chest, a 1? No, okay, if you get a purple chest, it's a 1 out of 2.3 to be an Avernic, so that is 42% chance to be Avernic. And then the Grazi Rapier, Sanguinesti Staff, and then all 3 Justy pieces are 10.5% each. And then finally you have this Scythe, 1 in 19, which is a 5.2% chance. For hard mode, things are tweaked a little bit. They want you to get fewer Avernics because, well, previously the Avernic wasn't worth as much, but now it's the second best job.
Yeah.
So you have a 38% chance instead of a 42% chance to get the Avernic, and then it's a 1 in 9. So instead of 10.5%, it's an 11.1% chance to get the Rapier, the Staff, or Justy. And then the Scythe, instead of 1 in 19, it's lowered to 1 in 18. So it's a 5.56 instead of a 5.26. And the Scythe, as of recording, is about 1.4 bill.
Lovely.
Wow.
So yeah, very lucrative. And you can do this raid, 3 times an hour is EHB, or a little, around there.
That's feasible.
Compared to ToA and chambers and stuff, the money here is this the best money besides like a solo TOA 550 or something? I don't know.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Very good.
A lot of nerd numbers.
Yeah.
So,
well, thank you, Poplo.
Yeah, that's what we got for ToB. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you have any more questions, there's tons of resources. This is like I said, this is an iceberg of a raid. You can always go farther. There's so many things that we didn't even get to discuss or go over in this. But if you want to learn the raid, I'm hoping sometime here pretty soon to do like a learners raids night. Hopefully get a couple other mentors to go and just do some raids for the clan. Teach people how to do some ToB. It'd be pretty fun just to get us out there, get going. Hoyt's gonna lead a team, so that would be great. Volunteered you.
We'll see about that.
Yeah. So if you're on Hoyt's team,
nobody wants to be on that team.
But
I just pick people who know what they're doing. We'll crank it out.
Exactly. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you have any more questions, feel free to message in Discord. Like I said, come join us in game, hang out at RaidzBank. Yeah. Do you guys have anything else for this week?
No, you killed it this week, Poplo.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Big week.
You crushed it. So like Poplo said, join us in game. If you're over 1800 total level, you can apply to join RaidzBank. It's one word with a Z, RaidzBank or Z.
Yeah, it's Z if you're from the best country.
Yeah. And then we do not have a chest room just because this is a beefy episode, but we do have something new for every episode moving forward. Support our Patreon to be a part of this. So we do have 3 supporters to shout out. We have Mikey and we have Dart41. So if you'd like to be a part of that, the higher tiers can get a shout out. But starting in the middle tier, you can be a part of our Q&A. So this week, we didn't get a lot of submissions, but we do have one question from Mikey, which is, gentlemen, which RuneScape alcoholic beverage would you drink and why? So I immediately thought of the Blueberry Special. I think that'll be the most common one.
Yeah.
But I want to look at the gnome thing here.
I already got an answer. So for me, it's I love stouts. If I'm drinking beer, I love it. I love a nice strong stout. Gotta have a dwarven stout. Gotta see what those drunk bastards are up to. It's gotta be strong. So that's what I'm in for a dwarven stout for sure, 100%.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
If I'm really trying to get messed up, then I'm gonna go for some brain death rum.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
I think you just spike a little bit of that. Okay, here we go. You spike a little bit of brain death rum in your fruit blast cocktail. I think you make a pretty mean drink right there. So
I'm gonna go with the Chalk Saturday. 1 whiskey, chocolate bar, Equa leaves, which I assume might be like minty, and a bucket of milk, like a dessert cocktail.
So a little espresso martini. Yeah,
I'll go with that one. Love some whiskey, so
there you go.
All right,
cool.
Well, yeah, if you'd like to be a part of that, check out our Patreon in the description and support the show. And I don't have anything else. Are you guys good?
Yep. No chest room this week because we did a 3-hour episode, so we'll take it back up next week.
Yeah, we're saving it up.
We're saving them.
That's right.
It'll be twice as
also
good.
Because it was my week and I had an extremely long chest room planned, and this so
let's run it.
We'll save it. We'll save it for next week too. So it'll be fun.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you guys for listening.
Take care.
See ya.
Thanks, guys.